injury lawyers.
Shoots, he scores!
Go to GotBrian.com. That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. We have a band of showers rolling through. It's not going to be in any one place for very long, but make sure you have your raincoat or umbrella handy if you have to be out and about between now and, say, 5 o'clock or so. 74, the high today. Clearing and cool tonight with a low of 51. And a bright day tomorrow, 72 under sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 64 points to 38,438. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities. Hour of the Drive brought to you by Sanford Strawberry Jammin'. Saturday, May 11th, downtown Sanford, starting at the Farmers Market, where it'll be all things strawberry flavored, plus live music, kids' activities, food trucks, vendors, and more.
Shot put on, rebounds there, they score! Teravainen with hard work out in front from Carolina. Jarvis holding, shoots, he scores! Jarvis with it. Svechnikov side of that, they score! Sebastian Aho! As Martinook backs it in, he scores! Jordan Martinook with the steal and the finish! And it's 4-3 Carolina! What a comeback!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, here on a Wednesday. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox here along with us. Today definitely feels like the seventh inning stretch, right? Or like the Super Bowl halftime show where you have a break in the action. It's just a little bit longer than it should be. Tomorrow we have Canes Game 3 against the Islanders. We have the NFL draft getting started. We have a whole tornado, or a hurricane, if you will, of sports news. And today, just getting ready for it, right? You got to mentally prepare. So I ask you this question about the Canes, because the more content I consume about the Canes Game 2, the more it seems like they're charmed, right? I mean, 81-0, the Islanders were in that situation. Canes win. They break the record for game tying, the shortest amount of time in the NHL in the third period between your game tying and game winning goal. 9 seconds. It's going to be a tough one to break. Are they a team of destiny? Can the Canes even be the team of destiny? Can you be both the betting favorite to win the title and the team of destiny for a playoff run? Can those two things coexist? Being the team that executes that comeback, it makes you think something bigger may be at work, right? That charmed. We talked about it with NC State during their Final Four run. Right, when they went up against Oakland, and I don't know how many of you remember, Jack Golke, right? He was the star of the first day of the tournament, or that first round of the tournament, because Oakland, which is not even in California, ended up beating Kentucky, and then NC State, who had the goodwill from the ACC tournament, and Oakland went up against each other in the second round, and it felt like whichever team won was going to be the team of destiny, and then it became NC State, and they captivated the country. Can the Canes get on that type of run where if say you're a fan of, I don't know, San Jose, do you just go, well, if my team can't win it, that team looks like a fun one to root for, and it's the Carolina Hurricanes?
Let's go with it.
Is that possible? Maybe. I also think there's part of just the way they're built that is it plays into exciting games, which kind of makes people think they're into it, right? Like if you play that game, if you play an overtime game, if you play a one-goal game, if you play a game where you have to come from behind, people watching, they don't know if they like watching you, if they like watching it's like everything gets jumbled. They just know they had a good time. Luke DeCock, give him a hat tip on this this stat. The Canes have closed out 4 of the 7 series that they've won since 2019 in overtime. Over half of the series that they've won in the playoffs in the last, whatever that is, 6 years, have come with the clincher in overtime. I don't know, like, you don't have to like the Canes to understand that's entertaining. Talk about a closeout game going to overtime and the goal and the celebration and the woo. Like, you don't have to like the Canes to like that. So I'm looking at it and saying this. I think the Canes can be a team of destiny. I don't think they're quite past that point. Here's my very, very simple rule for this. I think until you win a championship with that core, you can be the team of destiny. Once you win the championship, then you start talking about no new friends, no new fans. You're either with us or you weren't. But right now, there's space on the bandwagon. Come on. Open up the door. Slide on in. We'll scooch.
We'll make room.
That's where it is right now. And I think it's a good time to get on the bandwagon. I think the run's going to be fun for the reason I said. They seem to be built for postseason excitement. Here's Rod Brindamore talking about Stefan Nason specifically being built for this time of year.
This type of hockey, this time of year, those kind of guys really, I think, shine just because, the value really ramps up in the little things, right? And so he does a lot of little things, and that all add up. And so that's why I think you're talking about him now.
Nason's that way. I've had a really fun time watching Seth Jarvis transform into playoff Jarvie. There are certain players, and a lot of them on the Canes, that seem to be built for this time of year, which is why it's a good time to jump on the bandwagon, right? First round, if your team loses somewhere else and you want to jump on later, that's fine as well. But for right now, I think if you want to be a part of the vibe, it's a good time to jump on the bandwagon. Brett Pesce, the reports are out there that they are not expecting him back this series. The future, obviously an unknown, but Pesce being out means Tony DeAngelo time. Here's Rod Brindamore.
I mean, listen, he's been here before. We had him for a whole year, and I think he played almost every game. I mean, we know what we got in that player. That's why we went and got him. It's just unfortunate didn't get to play much this year because we were healthy, and but this is exactly why you want a guy like that around.
If this is exactly why you want Tony DeAngelo around, it's proof is in the pudding time, right? It's put him on the ice, and now it's this is why you're here. Now you have to succeed in that situation. I think that's a low-key and really important spot because, and we've seen DeAngelo, name a defender and name a defenseman that hasn't had this happen, but it only takes 10 seconds of mental lapse or 10 seconds of not great energy, and you can completely change a game in the NHL. So if DeAngelo's out there, even if we were talking about, right, if you want to play the other 5 guys a bit more or even go down to just 2 pairs and play them a bunch more later on, if DeAngelo's playing 10 minutes, right, heck, if he's playing 8 minutes, that's enough to change. You got to be out there ready to roll. It is interesting. Made it pretty obvious. DeAngelo's the guy, not Scott Morrow. I stand by the fact that publicly you're fully all in on DeAngelo right up until the moment you're not. It's interesting. DeAngelo was brought in for these situations. I think that's an interesting way to put it. Because at the beginning of the year, it looked like he was brought in to start all of the regular season.
Yeah, it's early in the year. They give him pretty much every chance early in the year, and then Chatfield is really the one that solidified things on the back end, him and Orlov.
Like, is this why he was brought in, or was he brought in for Chatfield to be this guy that's being brought in?
Well, it's interesting. I had to go back and look and see how they skated today, but the question is, do you put DeAngelo with Pesce to keep Orlov and Chatfield together because you know that pair works? Or are you going to have?
I did see it. I believe that's how they're doing it.
So I'm assuming that's what you're going to be, but that doesn't mean that you can't have more rotation of Brady Shea into the lineup and stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, so I just brought it up. Walt Ruff, team reporter, friend of the show. It's Slavin Burns, obviously, Shea D'Angelo, Orlov Chatfield, and then they have Coughlin and Moreau skating as well.
Yeah, so the Canes, because the AHL seasons
open it all up.
The AHL seasons ended for Dylan Coughlin, Max Comtois, as well as Antti Raanta. So those guys all got brought up, just to skate with the team, because you never know if things keep getting crazier. You might need to call upon those guys.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky
I'm just
Bobby.
saying. That's why I knocked on wood while saying it. By the way, a lot of people were probably wondering about Jesper Foss, what the latest is on him. Rod was asked today, is he going to travel up to New York? And Rod said probably not. So don't anticipate Jesper Foss playing in the next 2 games either. If he doesn't travel, he's not playing in the next 2 games. Simple as that.
And then they've hinted that he won't play in a game till he practices. So
which is pretty commonplace.
When he's not skating today, you're pretty confident in the next one. And also, you have a 2-0 lead, right? Don't rush 2-0 lead in the series.
Yeah.
Don't rush anybody back. At least not until the Islanders prove they can beat the guys you do have.
This is why, again, you got all the depth that you had. That's the reason why you made all those moves, so you can handle 2 guys getting hurt, or even 3. You can handle it.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
You still made the moves to do it, because you learned last year when Svetch got hurt.
I'm not even a superstitious person. It's just fun to make to
put that evil on you.
To yell that back at you.
But I remember today that it's like, oh yeah, it was John Gabriel Pajot that slashed Teuvo Teravainen in the first round last year, broke his hand, and he missed a chunk of time. So, oh yeah, that's right. They had Teravainen and Svetch out for chunks last year in the playoffs. It still got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to have more Canes talk. Jamie Hersch, NFL Network, joining us coming up in the sorry, what did I say? NFL Network?
You did say. You got
the draft is tomorrow. There's too much going on. Yeah. Jamie Hersch, NHL Network.
There
although
it is.
It would be funny to bring on an NFL Network and just, instead of talking about the draft, go, so goalie rotations, what do you think? Jamie Hersch, NHL Network, will be joining the show on the Heister Automotive Group hotline coming up next. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Pulling up to Mickey D's just for drinks? Oh yeah, that's me. Nothing extra, just perfection and a straw. Coming in hot for the coldest cups on the block. Because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
Now get an ice cold lemonade, frozen Coca-Cola, or iced coffee. Any size for just $1.79.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
See Star Wars Return of the Jedi made even more exciting as the North Carolina Symphony plays John Williams' thrilling score live Thursday, May 2nd at 7:30, Friday and Saturday, the 3rd and 4th at 8 at Memandi Concert Hall in Raleigh. Tickets at ncsymphony.org.
Major International Soccer is coming to Raleigh this summer. Don't miss the current English Premier League champions Manchester City versus the current Scottish Premier League champions Celtic FC, playing July 23rd at Keenan Stadium at the University of North Carolina. This is going going to be the event of the summer and your chance to watch some great soccer from two of the biggest teams in the world. Tickets are on sale now. Go to fcseries.com to purchase. July 23rd, Manchester City vs. Celtic at Kenan Stadium. fcseries.com for tickets.
It's Truck Month at your local Ram dealer, and now's the time to get great deals on our award-winning lineup of trucks. At Ram, all we do is trucks. Maybe that's why Ram is the most awarded light-duty and heavy-duty truck brand over the last 5 years. Ram trucks feature innovative technology and uncompromised power and dependability that give you the power to strengthen your truck game. Go to ram.com for great deals and hurry in for the best selection of trucks during Ram Truck Month. Based on total full-size pickup awards 2019 to 2023 CYTD, based on standard and available features offered.
2-day flash sale this Wednesday, this Thursday, 30% off carpet and air duct cleaning from Zero Res. Spring cleaning flash sale acts now, like right now. Go to ZeroResRaleigh.com or give them a call at 919-995-0000.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text CASH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text CASH to 42424. That's CASH to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are in the middle of the first round of the NHL playoffs, and we thought that was a perfect time to speak with Jamie Hersch, NHL Network, on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Jamie, welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll start with the obvious. After a win like Game 2 for the Canes, which was, they're going to write sonnets about it. Is the series over, or can the Islanders realistically fight back mentally?
I think the series is over, unfortunately, for the Islanders, because, the Islanders were not the better team in that game at all. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they were up 3-0, you can't let that go. Like, you had to get through that game and walk away saying, man, we really stole that one. We really lucked out. That's the only way in my mind that they come back in that series, is if they somehow eke out that win. But the way in which they lost, I think it's easier if they had just gotten blown out and lost 5-0 to the Canes. But to feel like you really should have won the game even though you were thoroughly outplayed and you didn't, and you let 2 goals in 9 seconds, and that was the difference late in the third period, that is gut-wrenching, heartbreaking stuff. And unfortunately, the Islanders know that all too well. It's happened time and time over the course of the season. It happened in the outdoor game, the Stadium Series against the Rangers. And so this is unfortunately kind of like a here we go again mentality for at least Islanders fans. And I got to think a little bit of that might be creeping into the room as well.
That's exactly what Canes fans wanted to hear. If we take that and we look kind of beyond to what is hopefully a longer postseason run, how much would an extended Brett Pesce absence, if it ends up being longer than just this series, affect the Canes?
That would be huge. But the good thing is I do think that they are so much deeper than they have been in years past. And, while Pesce is certainly super valuable and their team defense is really good, their goaltending's been really good lately. And so I think, what we've talked so often about the Canes come playoff time is, can they score goals? Can they get that depth scoring? And so they've kind of addressed that, I think, in the form of Jake Gensel. I remember I was on here a day or two before the NHL trade deadline, and he was my number one guy, where I said, if the Canes can get Gensel, he is the kind of game breaker that they need. And so I was super excited for them to see that they did go out and get him. And obviously you guys know all too well how immediate those dividends have been paid off. So hopefully he just keeps it rolling. And he's, personally, I know him back from Minnesota where he grew up. I know his dad, he used to coach at the University of Minnesota when I was covering the Golden Gophers back in my early days of reporting. And so I'm a huge Jake Gensel fan, and I certainly root for him come playoff time.
Jamie Hersch, NHL Network, connecting with us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. And you're right. I should have started with a hat tip for you for the Gensel call before the deadline. But I think all of the goals and assists distracted me. He's scored so much and put up so much production that I forgot to bring up that you were there first.
Well, let's say I was not there first. I'm not going to go that far, but
before
the
deadline, first might have been aggressive, but overcorrecting.
Yeah, his name was out there for a lot of people. I think it was a pretty well-known thing that he was the hot target and the biggest fish in the market. So I was just glad to see him land with a team that I think really needed someone like him. And I fully anticipate a deep playoff run for your team.
And ready for another transition here. You bring up Fish. He now gets to play with Fishy, Sebastian Aho, and right, see, connections, segues.
There you
go. When you put those types of players, and Seth Jarvis and Svetch, they're kind of all mixing up. There might be lacking that net front presence, but as the playoffs go on and get more physical, can you win with that kind of all finesse, all high IQ without that bruiser in that line?
I mean, I think you can. Like, I go back to, I think Colorado was a little bit of a finesse team. I mean, Nathan McKinnon's certainly a horse, and I don't know if I'd call him a finesse player per se. He just kind of blows through everybody. But, he's also not a huge net front guy either. So, I think about the Avalanche as kind of the most recent, like, super skilled team that won the Cup. Vegas is a little bit harder nosed, harder to play against, that gritty style. So I don't know, but I do think that there is enough talent for sure, no matter how you get it done. And I think, Gensel, even though he is a finesse player, like, he scored some big time goals right in front of the net in his career, and especially in playoffs. I mean, I go back to his rookie season when they won the Cup, and he was a huge part of that team. And that was kind of when he first went on the map, and people were like, who is this kid? He's a gamer come playoff time. And he's proven to do that year after year.
Hey, Jamie, it's Dennis Cox. We've seen Boston in their series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They go with Swayman and Allmark, the goalie rotation that we saw them have throughout pretty much the entire regular season. The Canes had success with Kochetkov and Anderson over the last 6 weeks of the year. Should the Canes look to use a goalie rotation? So they go with Kochetkov in Game 3?
I don't think so. I mean, especially the way that the Canes dominated that game and did end up winning. I think you just stick with your winning goalie for now. The Boston situation is truly unique, and we talked about it yesterday on NHL Now, where I don't know that we've seen a Stanley Cup champion team have a true tandem 1A, 1B goalie approach for many, many years. I mean, we sat there, Brian Boyle, Mike Rupp, and I racked our brains trying to think of the last time that a true two goalie system team won a Stanley Cup. So, I'm not completely sold that that's the right approach, but I will say it's the right approach for Boston. And they truly do seem to love each other and cheer each other on. I think it's genuine. I think that there's a lot of trust in that organization and a lot of communication between the coach and even the GM and the goalie coach and the two guys themselves to kind of figure out, like, this is what we're going with. I am curious to see how that plays out if things start to go south, right? Like, when you're winning, it's easy to say, yep, doesn't matter. Every other game, that's when we're going to go with the guy. We're going every other. But it is going to be interesting to see if they're really going to hold true to that approach if they start trailing in a series. Like, if Toronto ends up winning tonight, and who's it going to be? I think Swayman tonight. If he ends up putting up a stinker, I don't know, let's say Allmark bounces back then in Game 4 with a shutout performance. Like, do you really go back to Swayman for Game 5? I don't know. And I hope that we get to see it just because it makes for really great conversation. But that's something that I think is pretty rare, and so it works for Boston. But I wouldn't rush to that kind of approach if I were Carolina.
Jamie Hersch, NHL Network. Jamie, before we let you go, every team, every dedicated fan base gets lost in your own bubble in the postseason, and I think a lot of people are still catching their breath from Game 2. But looking at the league as a whole, the postseason as a whole, who do you think's been the most impressive and kind of the most everyone always wants to peak in the postseason?
Yeah, it's hard not to look at a team like the Rangers, but they kind of peaked the whole last 3 months. So I don't know. I mean, they're the obvious answer, right? They're the President's Trophy winners.
Yep.
They're the team to beat right now, and they've dominated so far in the 2 games against the Capitals. But, I think I look at what Vegas did the other night, and, we can definitely dive into the Mark Stone situation, LTIR controversy, et cetera. But they certainly look like a force to be reckoned with. And the fact that last year's Western Conference final is now a first-round playoff series between Vegas and Dallas is phenomenal for the game. Really a treat for us fans, but also sad to see one of those teams have to go home at the end of this couple weeks here, because I think Dallas is a really great Stanley Cup pick for a lot of people out there. I think Vegas might win the series, and that would shock a lot of people to have, the number 1 seed in the West go home in the first round. But that's just how good the Western Conference is. So for anyone listening out there who is kind of locked into that Carolina Eastern Conference bubble, take a look at some of those late games, because, what Connor McDavid's doing out in Edmonton, they're playing tonight, and Dallas and Vegas, those series are going to be just a grind. So I would say keep an eye on the Western Conference, because there's some really good talent this year out there.
Jamie, we appreciate you for jumping on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, and we'll continue to follow along with all your coverage and discussions on NHL Network.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Once again, Jamie Hersch. You can follow her on Twitter at Jamie Hersch. That's HERSCH. How about that? Very against the goalie rotation, at least for the Carolina Hurricanes, kind of like a smooth no. I think there's an argument on both sides of that, and we might even have that conversation later on in the show. But a smooth no, rolling with Freddie. I don't know,
the extra day off in between games, maybe that's all you need.
But then you're setting so then I guess Game 4 would be Pyotr Kochetkov. That would work a little bit. We'll have to talk about it. I think
we'll figure it out.
We'll get to the bottom of this. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. NFL Draft coming up in 27 hours, something like that, 28. I don't know why I do on-air math. The biggest draft questions of the entire deal coming up right after this.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you are tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics, using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Sheencup. Dr. Sheencup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. 919-400-5473. With locations in Cary, Clayton, Raleigh, and Wake Forest. 919-400-5473.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Dallas Rhule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You guys do so many things: windows, doors, siding, gutters, awnings, roofing.
Roofing is the most important part of your home. You want to make sure you keep the water out. Our roofing products made by Certainty, the shingle roofing, it comes in a lot of different colors, a lot of different styles, but it has a 50-year, 5-star warranty on all material and labor, backed by the manufacturer. It's non-prorated.
I've never heard of a 50-year warranty. I always hear like 20 or 30.
Unless a tree hits the house or you have some storm damage, it'll be the last roof you ever put on your home.
I like that. What about metal roofing?
We do a lot of metal roofing. We got the standing seam, comes in a lot of different colors, and it'll last forever, but it doesn't have the 50-year warranty like the shingled roofing does.
Sounds like you're pushing shingle roofing, which you should probably.
It's affordable, and again, it's hard to beat because it's really the last roof you'll have to pay to put on your home.
Dallas Brule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Calling all Caniacs, Carolina Ale House is your official Canes watch party headquarters. Every away game, join the Canes to cause chaos at our downtown Raleigh location. This Saturday, April 27th at 2 p.m., we're expanding the watch party to Tucker Street with Beer, the Storm Squad, and Stormy. Come watch on our giant TV, an indoor and outdoor party to celebrate the Canes as they take on the Islanders. Bring your favorite folding chair, grab an ice-cold R&D Storm brew, and watch the playoffs with us. All Caniacs and all ages are welcome. Carolina Ale House.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. A bottle of Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner can help your engine get more MPGs. Right now, when you buy one bottle, you can get one bottle free. A great deal to help you go a great deal farther. Find Chevron Techron and everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any one of our 6,300 stores.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. It is playoff time. NHL, NBA, and baseball is in full swing. FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you bet your first $5. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul. Paul with a capital P, and sign up. Then you can bet on everything from slap shots to slam dunks to home runs, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. So get started today. $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/Paul, P-A-U-L, and get started. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Electricity flows through everything. Our movement, our passion, our drive. Ford connected the performance of a sports car with the thrill of an EV to create a pony tuned for exhilaration, engineered to give you an extra jolt of adrenaline. Feel something electric. The 2024 Mustang Mach-E SUV. Test drive one today at your Carolina Ford dealer. Available at Ford EV certified dealers only.
Sanford Strawberry Jammin', Saturday, May 11th, downtown Sanford, starting at the Farmers Market, where it will be all things strawberry flavored, plus live music, kids' activities, food trucks, vendors, and more.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The day before the NFL draft is awesome because every single prognosticator covers their tracks in a hurry, right? For 3 months, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a all-world, all-everything wide receiver. The day before, they're like, Malik Neighbors could go first. I'm just saying it's possible. That way, if Malik Neighbors happens, you're like, well, I did say it was possible, even though for 3 months I said it was no shot, right? It's Caleb Williams. I'm just saying it's not a 0% chance that #1 overall pick could be a defender. It's like a defensive player. We haven't heard any of them for – everybody just kind of covers their tracks very quickly. Here's the problem with the draft and the coverage. You should be skeptical of anyone with big, aggressive, cold, hard, like there's a direct inbounds, out-of-bounds opinion, right? The hilarity to me, and we'll use Drake May as an example because he went to UNC and he's going to be a top 5 pick. The hilarity to me is when you suggest or somebody asks, like, who's going to be #2 overall? And they go Jaden Daniels because Drake May, he panics against pressure. He He can't do this. There's too many turnovers. He regressed his second year as a starter. When there's film out on him, blah, 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 blah. They're like, oh, great. Who's third? Drake May. It's like, wait a second. A billion reasons why you would not consider him for number 2 overall, but number 3, of course, yes. It's like, how? If somebody makes sense as the 3rd overall pick, they kind of make sense as the 2nd overall pick. At least they're not a horrendous decision. It's not like, if you can pick him at 12 overall, I really like the pick. If you pick him at 11, it's a massive overreach, and he's never going to pan out, and it's going to be a huge disappointment. It just doesn't make sense. Everything in the draft is in stages. It's in percentages, right? You think that Caleb Williams 60% of the time is going to be better than Drake? You take him because of that 60, not because it's 100%. There are no 100%.
60% of the time, it's going to work every time.
About 65% of the time, works 100% of the time. We're working in some deep cut Will Ferrell movie quotes here today. Maybe not deep cut, but at least Will Ferrell movie quotes. So with that being said, I'm going to do my best to not be too definitive with any of these answers, but Dennis is going to ask the biggest questions in the draft. Dennis, fire away.
All right, you mentioned quarterbacks.
I did.
How many quarterbacks go in the first round?
5.
5, okay.
Hard and fast, no doubt, no changes. No, just do everything I just said you shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big 4, as they're being called, it used to be the big 3, but J.J. McCarthy worked his way into it. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy. I think they're solidified top 15, okay? And then I think one of either Bo Nix or Michael Penix gets we want to have one more year of control, so we're going to trade into the bottom part of the first round to draft our quarterback. It happened with Lamar Jackson. It happens with guys every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's probably a second rounder, either Nix or Penix, whichever one doesn't, somewhere in that second round. And then beyond that, the Spencer Rattlers, the Michael Pratts, the others are, you only need one to fall in love with you, anywhere from the 3rd to the 5th.
See, if only 5 go and it leaves a 6, like you said, maybe Bo Nix or Michael Penix, that's where Dan Moore can get really active at pick 33. That's the reason why I brought up that question, because if all 6 go in the first round, there's probably a lot less activity for that 33rd overall pick.
Except if 6 quarterbacks go in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do some math. What does that mean? The 26th best, 27th best. Never do. This is second time. Never do on-air math. 26th best position player is available at 33.
Something like that, 26 or 27.
If there's 6 good wide receivers that you really have a first-round grade on, 5, 6, and you have 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round, of those other however many picks, are there really going to be 6 wide receivers taken? I want all of the quarterbacks drafted in the first round because I know the Panthers don't need a quarterback, and with every quarterback taken, that's a better player at a position of need pushed down to 33. And thus maybe more attractive trade bait for a team that already has a quarterback, right? If the best player available is a quarterback, that does limit your buyers. They're more desperate, but it does limit your buyers.
Desperation, though, can do a lot of different things. All right, speaking of teams getting desperate, which team outside of the top 5 trades up to draft a quarterback? So what team is, I guess, actually I'll rephrase this. Which team trades up in the draft to draft a quarterback outside of the top 5 picks?
So you're saying like up to 6 to
get
or
McCarthy
up to
9 or up to 11, 14, something along those lines.
I think the two – well, I'll do the whole insider. The 2 most talked about are Denver and Minnesota. They have, I think, 11 and 12 right now. Am I saying that wrong?
So I think it sounds right. I know Minnesota's 11 and 23. I think Denver is sitting at 12, either 12 or 14.
So the reason why I think they're both likely to trade up is because they both need a quarterback and they're back-to-back picks. So Minnesota's not going to just sit at 12 and go, or sit at, reverse that. Denver's not just going to sit at 12 and go, yeah, we'll just sit here and you'll take the quarterback at 11. So if they can get up to 9, a little leapfrog action, I think that's where it goes. So I would say those are the 2 most likely. Minnesota is probably most likely to trade into the top 5, but since you said not top 5, I'll go Denver just a couple of picks up to leapfrog Minnesota and grab their guy.
Okay. I'm hearing a lot of the Raiders might be interested in moving up because they're in desperate need of a quarterback as well. New head coach and Antonio Pierce, who was the interim head coach at the end of the year last year. And they just – I don't know what the Raiders are doing in terms of what their future plan is.
There's a lot of, I believe, desire, but I don't know if they have the ability. Like Jaden Daniels and Antonio Pierce were both at Arizona State. Antonio Pierce was the defensive coordinator, I believe, and Jaden Daniels was the quarterback. So they know each other and I assume would love to reunite at the NFL level. The problem is to get up to Jaden Daniels, you might have to trade all the way up to number 2, and then you got to spend a lot. And the Raiders, I don't think they have all of the resources to make a move like that. So, it's we've all been there, right? There's something you've had your eye on. For Dennis, it's probably a pair of shoes. For me, it's probably a watch of some kind.
Maybe.
And you're at the store and you have it like in your hands, right? You've asked to see it. Maybe even if it's a watch, you've asked to put it on your wrist and you're looking at it and you're just going, I want this so much, but I can't, right? I can't afford it. And you have to do the no, here you go, and you have to give it back, and it stinks, and you wish you didn't have to. To me, that is Jaden Daniels with the Raiders. They know they want it, right? They've had it circled on their vision board for years. Like it's their favorite size. It fits so well, but they can't afford it, so they have to give it back. So I believe their desire to move up is there. I just don't know if their ability to is.
And also, if you're Washington with the second pick, you need a franchise quarterback. Are you really going to give it up?
It would have to be a monumental.
I mean, it'd have to be like a ton.
But keep in mind,
take it into consideration.
Keep in mind this: Washington once did it in reverse.
Yeah.
They gave up a boatload to move up to number 2 to take RG3, and didn't necessarily work out for them. Like it might be a situation where they're like, if we can get 3 or 4 firsts. Let this new regime settle in, and then you can go all in for a veteran if you wanted to, right? Because you can send away a whole bunch of first-round picks. Like there's motivations there, but there's no motivation that'll get them to move off the number 2 other than we just had our socks knocked off by this offer, and
we can't refuse.
Yeah, a king's ransom.
Gotta make him an offer he can't refuse.
All right, with third question here, I'll probably make this a final one. With so much depth at wide receiver in the draft, and a lot of people say that as many as 6 offensive tackles could go in the first round of this draft.
Could be like if you do the math on that. I've heard 6 offensive tackles in the first round is a possibility. 6 quarterbacks is a possibility. 6 wide receivers is a possibility. Might go 18 at 3 positions.
Yeah, that's literally 3/5 of the draft, just about math.
I don't think that'll happen, but goodness gracious, if it does.
If it does, sweet. But because with so much wide receiver depth, will teams be trading into the first round to draft offensive tackles and defensive players in the 20s, therefore pushing some of those good wide receivers down to maybe where Carolina is at 33?
This is like ready for this reference here. You know how? I'll put it this way. I don't understand how traffic works, right? It's very frustrating to me when you're on a road with like not an accident. Like I understand an accident or a parade coming through or something. I understand that. But when you're just like on a highway and there's traffic, you slow down, maybe even come to a stop, and then all of a sudden you're just going again.
Yeah.
And like you're looking around going, what caused that?
People on I-40 are thinking that exact same thing right now. Like, what is happening?
And it's just like, well, one guy slowed down a little, the next guy slowed down, the next lady slowed down, the next. And I don't completely understand it. There's 2 ways drafts go when there's a deep position, right? If you have 12 really good wide receivers, either there's a run on wide receivers and everybody starts panicking, and if everybody's getting a good wide receiver, I don't want to be one left out, so it's just like bing, 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 and they all go early. Or the opposite happens, and everyone is thinking, why would I take one early? I can get one next round that's just as good. It's like traffic. I don't know what makes it go in one direction or the other. It's like probably some human, like we need an anthropology class to tell us. But it's very possible that, I forget what the question was, but it's very possible that wide receivers could tumble because of the depth rather than what we're all thinking is going to happen, which is all these guys with high grades are going to go high.
Yeah, I think because there's so much depth, it probably puts more of a premium on those other positions. It's like, okay, yeah, we can wait. Like, okay, we're going to get the 10th wide receiver on our board. Perfect. That's fine. He'll be our number 2 receiver this coming season. But we need that offensive tackle. I think we're going to see a flurry of trades between 15 and 28.
I agree.
And it's going to be fun.
It is ready for this because I'm a fantasy football nerd.
Of course you are.
They say to draft the bottom of tiers, right? So, if you have a 10 tier at 10 people in your highest tier of running backs, the best way you could draft is to draft number 10, right? So if you have a tier of 2 edge rushers that you think have first-round grades and 10 wide receivers that you think have first-round grades, if either of those edge rushers are there, you're like, we should take that one because there's a better chance it's going to come back. That's the logic there. So it all really depends on what the board says for each individual team.
Yeah.
Chris Sims and Todd McShay just came out today and said they've talked to people that have neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think that's necessarily a right or a wrong take. I think it's unusual based on what we've heard for the last 3 months. But what that just shows is no one's board is identical, right? It's not like everybody settles down for their draft room and goes, all right, ESPN top 100 prospects, and everybody drafts off the same board like we do in all our fantasy leagues where we're just off of best available that they give us in our little draft app.
Auto draft.
It's they don't operate that way. So, just recently, a media member asked the GM, and I'm forgetting his name, the GM for the Cardinals, how many first-round grades do you have on your board? And the GM talked for, 45 seconds and said absolutely nothing. He said, well, we have players, and then we have other players, and there is a board, and then we judge them on many different things, and it's up and it's down, and And then the coach of the Cardinals just leaned in and went, 0% chance you were getting the answer to that question.
Hey, you still asked.
And it's that's why the board is so unique to each individual team. So where those tiers are probably decide whether there's a run or if there's not. And quite frankly, we'll never see the board. That's why we need assistant coaches to be less social media savvy. Mm-hmm. So they post a picture that just says getting ready for the draft without noticing the board is in the background. And then we can all jump on it, right? So excited for my second draft with the Broncos. And then it's has all their quarterbacks listed on the board behind them. That's what we need more of. All the trolls on the internet. I've got the screenshot. They can delete it. It never leaves. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's talk a little portal action. The Triangle college basketball will look very different next year, and the portal is reshaping the rosters as we speak. Now, yesterday we had the breaking news that who was it? It was
Matt Norlander
of CBS had it first, that R.J. Davis would be coming back to Chapel Hill. And since then, a few other reporters have
Jeff Goodman of Stadium also
they've seconded it. Aye.
Field of 68. And Seth Trimble announced himself that he's coming back.
And that was also yesterday.
Source Seth Trimble.
So yeah, credit Seth Trimble for the Seth Trimble news. I always respect that when a player signs a contract and they tweet out sources, I have agreed to a deal. It's clever. Media people like that. So anyway, looking at these, it's so funny because Duke, Carolina, State, Carolina, Duke, Carolina, State, Duke, whatever order you say them in, they've taken very different approaches to the transfer portal. NC State, and this is actually built up by the last few years, they replace graduating or eligibility expiring players with transfer portal. It super speeds. It fast forwards the way college basketball used to have a team put together. You used to get a guy and you'd expect him to be there 3 or 4 years, right? Now, NC State is essentially doing that same thing, but with 1 or 2 years of eligibility. They're grabbing guys with 2 years left and essentially cutting their expectation on campus in half, but then when their eligibility expires, they go right back to it. So it's hyper speed, right? You can develop a team, but you got to do it fast. You can build chemistry, but you got to do it fast. You can have guys returning who can set the culture for the new guys, but they got to do it fast. They got to do it in 6 months rather than 2 years. They got to show them the way in one training camp rather than an off-season, a training camp, a season, and the next training camp. So they're out in the portal. We're going to go out and in for each of them. Their out is Cam Woods and LJ Thomas. That's who's leaving in the portal. I didn't expect either of them to be massive contributors next year.
Ernest Ross also going as well.
Ernest Ross also gone. Again, didn't expect him to be a massive contributor in the transfer portal. The ones that you're really missing are the graduates, right? You're talking about the DJs, DJ Burns, DJ Horn, Casey Morcell, right? Those guys on the way out need to be replaced. They brought in Dontrez Styles, started his career at UNC, Kinston native, spent last year averaging 12.8 points per game at Georgetown, Big East. They brought in Brandon Huntley Hatfield and Mike James, both from Louisville. So they've gone to the bottom of the ACC and said, we can use your team for parts. Like the whole part of it might not be great. Car doesn't drive well, but we're going to take the carburetor and the belt.
It's no different than teams at a trade deadline, like selling off good players, trading off their assets.
So I say that to say, here's how it goes. This is what NC State is going to do for the foreseeable future. Because guess what's going to happen? Next year, the O'Connells, there's other players who will see their eligibility expire, and you're going to have to keep doing this to keep the hamster wheel going. UNC, you ready for this? This is UNC's main contributor in and out on the portal. Seth Trimble out, Seth Trimble back in.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. Now, they do have some scholarships available, and here's my pitch for transfers out there, particularly post-transfers. Who wouldn't want to play with R.J. Davis? You're going to get one-on-one in the post because they got to chase him around?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who wouldn't? All those shots going up, someone's got to rebound him. Who wouldn't want to play with R.J. Davis? It's interesting by UNC. They're being very selective. They haven't brought anybody in other than somebody that was already in. So I do believe they'll use the portal, but I do believe they're looking for something. They didn't go in with a long shopping list, right? It's the grocery store thing. They didn't just go in and S-curve up and down every aisle with their head on a swivel going, what do I need? Do I need that? No, they walked in with they're reading the little signs above the grocery store looking for post player, lots of rebounding, defense, can score if we need to. Like, what aisle is that? And they're looking for something very specific.
I know Aquanco went into the portal as well. I think he transferred in, correctly, from West Virginia last year. Didn't play a ton. He's in the portal. So, again, it's like it's pretty negligible there.
And then there's Duke. Duke, they're the remember that show with Ty Pennington where they used to show up, like, knock your whole – they called it Extreme Home Makeover.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Which started with, like, they'd paint your walls and give you new countertops, and by the end they were like, it's wild and crazy. We knocked down your whole house and built a water park. And it's like, that's not a home makeover. You just built a new house for me. What is going on here? Duke is that version. They're like, it's crazy. You had a team that made the Elite Eight last year. You went on vacation. You came back. It's a water park. It's we turned your kid's bedroom into a tiger cage with 2 Siberian tigers. It's like, what is going on here? They said they liked the zoo, so we got a zoo in the backyard. Jeremy Roach, transfer portal, Baylor. Mark Mitchell, transfer portal. TJ Power, transfer portal. Sean Stewart, transfer portal. And others, I don't have time to list them all. 10 names outgoing, either turning pro, eligibility expiring, or portal. In, they brought Malik Brown from Syracuse, Mason Gillis from Purdue, and that's the portal. And 6 freshmen that are the number 1 recruiting class in the country.
Yes, and a lot of stud.
And Cooper Flagg to build around. Duke is all in. This is the adjustment for Duke. It looks like they're all in on 1 year, kind of year-to-year roster management. They are going to win, and maybe it's a Cooper Flagg thing. Maybe it's what they do from now on. It's you get your centerpiece, meaning Cooper Flagg, number 1 recruit in the country, expected number 1 overall pick, all of that, and you shuffle out everybody that doesn't fit around him, and you shuffle in everybody that you think does fit around him. And Cooper Flagg's going to turn pro next year, and I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. And there might be 4 other freshmen that transfer out or turn pro, and there might be 1 coming back, and that player will likely fit around whoever is the main course, the centerpiece of next year's team. They are going to build their team on a year-to-year, not even what State's doing with like a little bit of overlap, where it's like, all right, the juniors last year get to be seniors this year for the new juniors. Not much of that. They're like, no, we have Cooper Flagg. If you fit with Cooper Flagg, we'd like you back. If you don't, you're always part of the brotherhood unless you go to a few specific teams in the transfer portal. See ya. Which, by the way, I guess TJ Power he's kind of the apple of Kentucky's eye right now.
Oh, I have no doubt that, former 5-star recruit.
Former top 20 recruit in the country.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be going after him for sure.
And Kentucky, with Calipari leaving, needs a lot. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's kind of the state of the triangle in the basketball transfer portal, which is changing every day. So we'll see if we still think that way 2 days from now. Window Nation. Want to tell you about my partners at Window Nation. Right now, you can go online and find over 20,000 online positive reviews for Window Nation. That's a ton. They've installed over 200,000 windows last year. That's individual windows. 40 times more than the average window company, and 96% of them require no follow-up service. Over 15,000 custom vinyl window combinations available, which is how you get to so many different reviews and so many different installations. Lifetime warranty. There's so many reasons to be excited about Window Nation. Maybe the coolest of the bunch, they can install all of your windows in 1 day or less. You don't have to, go stay in a hotel for a week while your house is covered in the sheets, those plastic sheets. They can be in and out in a day or less. It's all happening at Window Nation, and right now they have a buy 2 windows, get 2 free deal, plus 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 24 months. It's easy. Call 866-90-NATION for a free, no-obligation quote. 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com to schedule. That's windownation.com to schedule now. Football at 4 is coming up next. Over the last 2 days, voluntary team workouts have been going on with the Panthers. The draft is tomorrow, which means we need to play some audio from Dave Canales, the new head coach. Stick around.
Canes fans, game on.
Let's go, Canes!
Let's go, Canes! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Let's go, Hurricanes! Go, Canes!
Let's go,
Canes!
Gets it with a second try. Swim against it. They score!
Rebound score, Seth Jarvis.
What a save by Anderson! Ride with us for every heart-stopping game. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Get loud for me.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop. Introducing Bojangles' new Bird Dog, a seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supreme, dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all on a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or a 2 Bird Dog combo for just $8. Hurry, Bo's Bird Dogs are available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Before the puck drops, BetMGM is dropping bet and get tokens into the accounts of customers in North Carolina. Hey, it's Victoria Vodnecker here for BetMGM, and all you do is simply add a wager on the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs to your bet slip and activate your token. You'll instantly receive a bonus bet no matter how your wager goes. From big hits to overtime goals, BetMGM is here for every playoff moment on the ice. While the teams chase the cup, you can take advantage of daily promotions, same-game parlays, live bets, and so much more with your BetMGM app in North Carolina. Play Claim your Bet and Get token today to earn a bonus bet regardless of whether your NHL Stanley Cup playoffs wager finds the back of the net or not. Get to the center of the playoff hockey action with BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Autobell Car Wash has been trusted for 55 years for high-quality service. We'll clean your car from the inside out. Now through June 2nd, buy 2 Super Poly Process Wash tickets at any Autobell for just $55.
People can tell when you Autobell.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Shoots, he scores!
Go to GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. We have a band of showers rolling through. It's not going to be in any one place for very long, but make sure you have your raincoat or umbrella handy if you have to be out and about between now and, say, 5 o'clock or so. 74, the high today. Clearing and cool tonight with a low of 51. And a bright day tomorrow, 72 under sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit Newcomb & Company.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 42 points to 38,461. Market update brought to you by The Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to The Good Feet Store. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities. Again, come to The Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities. Hour of the Drive brought to you by Sanford Strawberry Jammin'. Saturday, May 11th, downtown Sanford, starting at the Farmers Market, where it will be all things strawberry flavored, plus live music, kids' activities, food trucks, vendors, and more.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. For Football at 4, we're going to play some audio for you following Canes practice. Canes, goodness gracious. I'm messing up NHL for NFL. Now I'm messing up Panthers for Canes. I think we just, the draft and the NHL playoffs can't be at the same time. Spread it out. But 1 in July. Anyway, for Football at 4, we are going to look at some comments from post-Panthers practice. They've had their voluntary team workouts, the voluntary minicamps yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The draft is obviously tomorrow, so that's what a lot of the questions are going to be about. But first, we need to clarify some things. We've been given some answers to some entertaining questions, including what happened in a way that Deontay Johnson could not know who Dave Canales was. Here's Deontay Johnson on his first. By the way, Deontay Johnson was traded from the Steelers to the Panthers to be their number one wide receiver. And here's Deontay Johnson on his first impressions of his new head coach, Dave Canales.
He's accurate, smart. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've seen from watching his tape and whatnot. Great player.
It's young and Canales.
Can make plays, make any throw on the field. And I'm here to make him better as a player and a quarterback, help him grow.
What were your impressions of Dave Canales when you first met him and then when you first saw him on the field?
Coach Dave, he was cool. To be honest, I didn't know he was the head coach when I went out to dinner with him. Well, I'm like, because he was just talking, like, just his energy he brings. And then after the dinner, I'm like, somebody told me he was the head coach. I'm like, oh, I was so surprised. Like, but other than that, like, I love his energy. So, like I said, I'm excited to play for him.
He didn't know Dave Canales was the head coach, or he didn't know that the person that Dave Canales is at the dinner was the head coach. He may have known that there was a Dave Canales that was the head coach. He just didn't connect it to that guy that he was eating dinner with.
Just didn't have a face to go with the name.
That's hilarious. This guy is making like $14 million this year from the Carolina Panthers.
I mean, he's kind of your boss.
Oh, it is. It's not kind of. It is your boss. Hilarious. Dave Canales today was asked about that dinner with Deontay Johnson when apparently Deontay Johnson didn't know who Canales was.
I did not know, but we were having such a good time. Steak 48. I mean, some fantastic food. You know, he's probably looking at this guy. He's young. I'm asking a lot of questions, talking about, you know, how we're going to use him in the offense. And so he's probably thinking, this is the offensive coordinator. It's like, great. It's awesome, you know. And so I think his agent could have helped him a little bit, you know, maybe send him a snapshot or something like that on his phone, like, hey, by the way, this is Coach Canales. And so, yeah, I did not know that until yesterday when he said it. So pretty funny in hindsight, but that's not the only time that's happened.
That's not the only time it's happened? You've only been coach for a couple months.
Yeah. Well, I think it was when he was talking with like in a room with draft prospects and stuff like that. People didn't realize, like, oh, well, you're the head coach.
You want to know the difference between a wide receiver and a quarterback? When a quarterback switches teams, specifically one to be a starting quarterback, one of the first things they do is ask for like a staff directory so they can memorize everybody's name. They're talking team, you're talking strength coach, you're talking equipment guy. You want to walk in like the CEO saying, hey, Billy, what's going on, Fred? Deontay Johnson is a wide receiver. Didn't even bother to learn the head coach's face. Didn't even do that. But it seems like everybody's cool with it. My first reaction was, at least you know he wasn't brown-nosing the head coach at dinner.
That's true.
He wasn't sitting there just
a good point.
Giving the proper answers because he thought the head coach was listening. He's lucky he didn't go up to what he thought was the offensive coordinator and go, how crazy is it that the head coach has no experience? Wild, right?
Yeah, really.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. It's great. It's awesome. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, I knew it was you. Ha, ha, ha.
I just came from, like, one of the longest tenured coaches in the NFL to this guy.
This will be fun.
Whoops.
The other thing that we need to clear up based on the post-practice conversations is Xavier Legette from South Carolina is going around telling podcasts that the Panthers have told him if he's there with the 33rd pick, they're going to take him. Now, that is rare, A, that a team would say that, and B, that a player wouldn't catch the wink, wink, nod, nod to not run around and tell everybody that, even if they were told that. So Dave Canales, after the practice today, was asked about Legette and that 33rd pick.
I mean, it was a great conversation, you know. I definitely said that to him and about 50 other guys, you know. Like, man, so we take you at 33. It's actually a lead-in question. So when we draft you at 33, what happens now? And then there's a bunch of questions that happen after that, you know. So, yeah, part of the process.
How hilarious is that? They said, so Xavier Legette, X, can I call you X? Can I call you Zave? We draft you 33rd overall. What happens next? And Legette just heard, we draft you 33rd overall, texted his agent, I'm in there. They said it to 50 people. It's hilarious. By the way, Legette could legitimately be the 33rd overall pick. That's maybe he answered it correctly.
It would make a lot of Panthers fans happy.
Would it make you happy? South Carolina to Charlotte?
I'm here for what's best for the team.
Oh, you'll swallow your pride?
I have to.
First drop. I told you this guy. First time he doesn't make the play.
I feel great about playing football right now.
So do I. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's get at least one or two of the serious conversations from Dave Canales rather than just clearing up the goofy stuff. Here's Dave Canales on what he learned day 2 of mini camps, voluntary practices for the Canes.
When you start adding layers, we start seeing guys get challenged with communication, assignments, and all those things. It's a great thing. This is when we want to do that. So the message I just gave the guys is, this is great. Let's find new mistakes tomorrow. So my thing is, the things that we see that we do wrong, all right, fix them. Let's find new mistakes. What does that mean? That means we're growing. That means we're challenging ourselves, pushing the envelope on what we can handle, and finding the scope of who we're going to be.
First of all, I said Canes going into the break. I think I know the problem. Canales kind of looks like Canes in my notes. So when I see it, my brain just goes Canes. The C-A-N gets me.
Okay. So there's the excuse.
Yep, 100% an excuse. Not
fair.
a reason at all. That is a pure excuse. Thank you for calling me out.
That's fine.
Dave Canales, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, was also asked about the process of improving Bryce's, meaning Bryce Young's, game.
Never get bored with the basics. There's a great Kobe Bryant video if you want to YouTube something later. It's fantastic. One of the greatest of all times talking about that. So there's a process. There's a QB school that he's going through. And as we do it, the things he needs to specifically improve on, that kind of like that's the lens that we look at stuff with. So,
first of all, I've never heard anything more on brand with a person than Dave Canales, like alone in his office, maybe has film on one screen and just has Kobe Bryant motivational speeches streaming consistently on the other screen. He's just getting Mamba system injected into his veins while he watches like 6th round offensive tackles, and he's just getting jacked up, just getting excited.
I feel great about playing football right now.
You're darn right. You're darn right he feels good about playing football right now. You know what? I saw him playing running back at practice. Now, we did see Matt Rhule playing defensive line.
Well, I was going to say, does that mean drafting a running back? Is that confirmed now? They drafting a running back? Like, I'm taking the spot of the guy we're taking in the 6th.
Pretend I'm Bucky Irving. Is that what you're saying? Pretend my name is...
I'm Will Shipley.
Trey Benson. Oh, Will Shipley. Are you going to be okay with that if it's Will Shipley?
Well, he's from the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, but he left the state of North Carolina for his college football. There are some bitterness around here for that exactly.
Oh, yeah, trust me.
He could have hit the portal and gone back to the state of North Carolina for this year, but instead he's going pro. I'm just saying, we don't need to open those wounds right now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Quickly here, I want to tell you about my friends over at Miller Lending, and of course that includes Gordon Miller. Gordon's been doing no closing cost loans, mortgages since 1987. Just because, and that makes him pretty much the best at it, just because rates are up right now doesn't mean you should be paying $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in closing costs. When you close on a mortgage with Miller Lending, that is just your next payment, not your forever payment. So what I mean by that is when you sign a mortgage, and if you bought a house, you've been there, you sign your name 1,000 times, and then they give you the little chart, and it's how much you're going to pay over the length of a 30-year loan, and this much per month for this long and this long and this long. This is what you have to budget. This is what you have to plan for. But in actuality, if rates come down, your payment should come down. You just have to go refi. And you don't want to dig into your pockets every time you do that for costs and fees over and over and over again, as hopefully the rates continue to fall. Instead, no closing cost loan from Miller Lending and Gordon Miller. Give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online and learn more at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have our Canes Cup check-in and also Hit It and Quit It. So it's a full segment coming up next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Robert in Raleigh, listening on 99.9 The Fan. What's up, Robert?
I got to go leftovers, macaroni and cheese. Michelle, I know you don't eat leftovers. My wife grew up eating leftovers. She'll bake a peach pie from scratch, have one piece, and then it's old. And I've heard you talking about where the best pizza's from. If you've not had Pepe's, Sally's, or Modern Pizza, they're all right there in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yep. Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
There are truck months, and then there are truck months. This Ram Truck Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington is one you won't want to miss out on. Right now, you can get 20% off a new 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn. Get off your keister and get to Heister for your shiny new 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn at 20% off. We'll serve it up with personalized customer service from our team dedicated to providing a seamless buying experience. Hurry to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the FSA 57 battery trimmer set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK10 battery and AL101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every point, every game, every layup, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a three-pointer at the buzzer to tie the game, or a player goes 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, official partner of the Charlotte Hornets. 21 plus only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
What's up, bud? Where are you hanging for Cinco de Mayo?
Sharkies.
Sharkies?
Yep, annual crawfish boil. Don't miss it ever.
Ooh, crawfish boil. I ain't missing that either.
You know what? It's Cinco de Mayo this year.
Whoa, Cinco de Mayo. I love it. Wait, that could be a hit song. Cinco de Mayo on the bio. Eating crawfish and
no.
Sharkies
You don't need to sing. I get it.
Come join the fun at Sharky's, 5800 Durham Road, the largest crawfish boil this side of New Orleans. Cinco de Mayo this year, baby.
All day long.
It's time to shop sparkling deals. It's Bailey's Fine Jewelry's multi-million-dollar inventory reduction sale. Starting Thursday, April 25th, Bailey's is slashing prices up to 60%. Diamonds, watches, earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings are all on sale. The perfect time to shop for Mother's Day, anniversary, or engagement rings without breaking the bank. Shop the largest selection of luxury jewelry for less at Bailey's Big Sale. Learn more at BaileyBots.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Hurricanes, Game 3 at the New York Islanders tomorrow. They lead 2-0, and I think that's good for the table setting here. It's time for the Cup check-in. on 99.9 The Fan, served up by Abbey Road Tavern and Grill in Cary and Apex, your neighborhood rock and roll sports bars. Earlier today, we were joined by Jamie Hersch of the NHL Network to give some insight into the postseason and the run that the Canes are on. Here's part of that conversation as part of our Cup check-in. After a win like Game 2 for the Canes, which was, they're going to write sonnets about it. Is the series over, or can the Islanders realistically fight back mentally?
I think the series is over, unfortunately, for the Islanders because, the Islanders were not the better team in that game at all. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they were up 3-0, you can't let that go. Like, you had to get through that game and walk away saying, man, we really stole that one. We really lucked out. That's the only way in my mind that they come back in that series is if they somehow eke out that win. But the way in which they lost, I think it's easier if they had just gotten blown out and lost 5-0 to the Canes. But to feel like you really should have won the game even though you were thoroughly outplayed and you didn't, and you let 2 goals in 9 seconds, and that was the difference late in the third period, that is gut-wrenching, heartbreaking stuff. And unfortunately, the Islanders know that all too well. It's happened time and time over the course of the season. It happened in the outdoor game, the stadium series against the Rangers. And so this is unfortunately kind of like a here we go again mentality for at least Islanders fans. And I got to think a little bit of that might be creeping into the room as well.
That's exactly what Canes fans wanted to hear. If we take that and we look kind of beyond to what is hopefully a longer postseason run, how much would an extended Brett Pesce absence, if it ends up being longer than just this series, affect the Canes?
That would be huge. But the good thing is I do think that they are so much deeper than they have been in years past. And, while Pesce is certainly super valuable and their team defense is really good, their goaltending's been really good lately. And so I think, what we've talked so often about the Canes come playoff time is, can they score goals? Can they get that depth scoring? And so they've kind of addressed that, I think, in the form of Jake Guentzel. I remember I was on here a day or two before the NHL trade deadline, and he was my number one guy where I said, if the Canes can get Guentzel, he is the kind of game breaker that they need. And so I was super excited for them to see that they did go out and get him. And obviously you guys know all too well how immediate those dividends have been paid off. So hopefully he just keeps it rolling. And he's, personally, I know him back from Minnesota where he grew up. I know his dad, he used to coach at the University of Minnesota when I was covering the Golden Gophers back in my early days of reporting. And so I'm a huge Jake Guentzel fan, and I certainly root for him come playoff time.
Jamie Hersch, NHL Network, connecting with us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. And you're right, I should have started with a hat tip for you for the Guentzel call before the deadline. But I think all of the goals and assists distracted me. He's scored so much and put up so much production that I forgot to bring up that you were there first.
Well, let's say I was not there first. I'm not going to go that far, but
before
yes,
the deadline, first might have been aggressive, but overcorrecting.
Yeah, his name was out there for a lot of people. I think it was a pretty well-known thing that he was the hot target and the biggest fish in the market. So I was just glad to see him land with a team that I think really needed someone like him. And I fully anticipate a deep playoff run for your team.
Hey, Jamie, it's Dennis Cox. We've seen Boston in their series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They go with Swayman and Allmark, the goalie rotation that we saw them have throughout pretty much the entire regular season. The Canes had success with Kochetkov and Anderson over the last 6 weeks of the year. Should the Canes look to use a goalie rotation? So they go with Kochetkov in Game 3?
I don't think so. Especially the way that the Canes dominated that game and did end up winning. I think you just stick with your winning goalie for now. The Boston situation is truly unique, and we talked about it yesterday on NHL Now, where I don't know that we've seen a Stanley Cup champion team have a true tandem 1A, 1B goalie approach for many, many years. We sat there, Brian Boyle, Mike Rupp, and I racked our brains trying to think of the last time that a true 2-goalie system team won a Stanley Cup. So, I'm not completely sold that that's the right approach, but I will say it's the right approach for Boston. And they truly do seem to love each other and cheer each other on. I think it's genuine. I think that there's a lot of trust in that organization and a lot of communication between the coach and even the GM and the goalie coach and the two guys themselves to kind of figure out, this is what we're going with. I am curious to see how that plays out if things start to go south, right? when you're winning, it's easy to say, yep, doesn't matter. Every other game, that's when we're going to go with the guy. We're going every other. But it is going to be interesting to see if they're really going to hold true to that approach if they start trailing in a series. Like if Toronto ends up winning tonight, and who's it going to be? I think Swayman tonight. If he ends up putting up a stinker, I don't know. Let's say Ullmark bounces back then in Game 4 with a shutout performance. Like, do you really go back to Swayman for Game 5? I don't know. And I hope that we get to see it just because it makes for really great conversation. But that's something that I think is pretty rare, and so it works for Boston. But I wouldn't rush to that kind of approach if I were Carolina.
Once again, that was Jamie Hersch, NHL Network, as part of our Cup check-in here on 99.9 The Fan, served up by Abbey Road Tavern and Grill in Cary and Apex, your neighborhood rock and roll sports bars. That was earlier in the show, and she gives her insight. Check her out on NHL Network and on Twitter at Jamie Hersch. That's HERSCH. Now, as we transition to Hit It and Quit It. I need the music. There we go. Hit It and Quit It, where we line up the biggest stories in sports, and then we hit it and we quit it, and we move on to the next, starting with something we were actually just talking about in that conversation with Jamie Hersch. Brett Pesce, injury update. Not expected to be back this series. Now, here's the beauty. Like, everything that we get as far as updates from the Canes is vague, and it's right. Not this series. That could be 2 games.
That's a good point. Okay, so through Saturday?
Yeah, it could be 2 games. It could also be like it's kind of like being suspended indefinitely, right? It's like indefinitely means literally could be any length. Pesce not expected back this series.
Could be 1 game.
Yeah, for indefinite suspension could be. Rod Brindamore spoke with the media, and he pretty much explained this is why Tony DeAngelo is here.
I mean, listen, he's been here before. We had him for a whole year, and I think he played almost every game. I mean, we know what we got in that player. That's why we went and got him. It's just unfortunate didn't get to play much this year because we were healthy, and but this is exactly why you want a guy like that around.
Few things. One, morning skate. Or practice, I should say. He skated with Shea. So they're not mixing up any of the other pairings. So DeAngelo with Shea. The other is, even if you, like, if coach isn't selling us a bill of goods there, even if they are, like, excited and or ready and prepared for DeAngelo to play a big role, he is different than Pesce, right? Even if you're comfortable putting him out there for a lot of ice time, he is inherently a different player. He is going to be more of an offensive-minded defenseman. Pesce had, 3 goals and 10 assists this year, played in 70 games. DeAngelo would have had more than that if he played in 70 games. But he also probably wouldn't have been as sound maybe on the other end of the ice. So it's a give and a take in a lot of different ways, and they have to adjust and put them in the situations that they can be successful. Anything to add? Let's quit it and hit it.
Got him! Also, speaking of the Carolina Hurricanes, some practice updates today. Like you mentioned, Pesce out, DeAngelo skating in his spot alongside Brady Shea. No Jesper Fast once again. Rob Brindamore was asked about this during his post-practice availability, I should say. Is Jesper going to travel? He said, probably not. Which means don't expect Jesper Fast. They actually did fly out already, but don't expect Jesper Fast for the next 2 games either.
You know what that does? That pushes away a very difficult decision.
Yeah.
Because we were talking when Fast was healthy that there was kind of 3 guys for 2 spots in the active lineup. Those 3 guys, Kuznetsov, Kotkaniemi, and Drury, have all done something in the first 2 games or multiple somethings in the first 2 games to make a pretty strong case that they should stay in the active lineup.
They've all contributed in some way, shape, or form in a positive way. So, you don't have to think about that decision right now. It's not a decision yet. It's just not a decision yet.
Until Fost is healthy, it's not a decision. So it's pushing back a very difficult decision that they're going to have to make.
But the Canes travel. Not sure if they're going to have a morning skate tomorrow in New York or not. But again, it's a 7:30 puck drop. once again tomorrow up on Long Island.
They
Game
did
3.
They did activate some guys, just kind of practice bodies.
Yeah, they brought up Dylan Coughlin, they brought up Max Comtois, and they brought up Antti Ranta because their AHL seasons have all expired. So you know what? Come up, you can practice. Just in case something happens, we know that you're here and ready to go.
Yeah, you're not just sitting on your couch eating bonbons.
I mean, unless you're going to do it.
No, so you got to be ready.
Exactly.
Let's quit that. Let's hit this. Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman back.
Yeah, he is.
He is getting his Heisman. I think he actually got his Heisman back. They gave him the trophy back, all of the no because your parents took money for an apartment, whatever it ended up being.
Like a house, right?
Sure. Reggie Bush is getting his Heisman back. I see the moralist argument against this, saying, like, it doesn't matter if NIL makes it legal now. It was against the rules when he did it. I get it. But as somebody that was like 12 years old when Reggie Bush was at USC, that guy was pretty darn good. That was pretty darn good.
It's like, yeah, all that stuff was off the field. That guy on the field was the most electrifying player in college football.
One year,
multiple seasons. It was so fun to watch.
That whole team. When I was living out in Hawaii growing up, they went out to play Hawaii, USC, with Lendale White and Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and the whole crew. And
Clay Matthews at linebacker.
Yeah, exactly. It was Clay Matthews. It was
Ray Maluga, Brian Cushing.
Cush was there. They had I'm going to forget his name, Taylor something, a safety who was like DK Metcalf before DK Metcalf. He was just massive.
Taylor Mays.
Taylor Mays. That's exactly who it was. They had a team that was pretty bananas, and they came out to play Hawaii, and they won by 100. But our tickets were like corner of the end zone, and Reggie Bush had a long touchdown run coming right at us, and he did the jump where he flipped into the end zone, and you know, I don't know how high his vertical was. He was 17 feet in the air to 12-year-old me.
Yeah.
And did the somersault into the end zone, and it was one of the cooler in-person like events that I've been to. Just watching that team, Pete Carroll, the coach, just on high operating procedure, cruising to a victory.
They were a must-watch TV. When they were a must-watch television back in the day. USC was.
They were Los Angeles' professional football team.
They were
before the Chargers and Rams moved to Los Angeles.
I remember. I'll never forget. I know it was the 06 championship game between USC and Texas. Mac Brown, Texas head coach at the time. Vince Young was the quarterback for Texas.
They were going for the repeat.
Yeah,
maybe one of the three-peat.
It may be. They're one of the best college football games I've ever seen.
If you're counting games that I watch on television, it's a two-person race for me.
Yeah.
As far as best games of all time, it's that, and it's the Fiesta Bowl with Boise State and Oklahoma and Adrian Peterson.
Oh, that was fantastic.
And they're right around the same year. It's like 06 and then 07. So maybe it's just nostalgia for me.
What football player today reminds you of Reggie Bush back then? Whether college or NFL, who reminds you now?
Good question.
Bush was?
You know what? A little bit of Achan from Miami.
Okay, yeah.
Just because of his ability to, every time he touches it, you think there might be a 75-yard touchdown there.
Yeah.
I was going to go Christian McCaffrey, but
there's a little CMC in there.
Just because of the versatility, the pass catching, and the ability to run. But Christian McCaffrey actually is, I think, better at getting like the 6-yard gain.
Yes.
Reggie Bush was like 45, or I'm going to try to reverse field 7 times, and I'll pick up. It's just Christian McCaffrey is better at the boring. I don't know if anyone will ever be as good as Reggie Bush at the spectacular.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Just swinging for the fences every time he touched the football.
I remember how surprised. This is how good Reggie Bush was. He's a running back. In this century, I was surprised he wasn't taken number 1 overall.
I think he went like 2 or 3.
He went number 2 to Mario Williams from right around here.
That's right.
Was the surprise number 1 pick. Obviously State. And Reggie Bush went number 2 to New Orleans, and everyone was like, how did you let a running back fall to number 2?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen anymore. Running backs are like day 2, hopefully.
Yeah.
Let alone number 2 pick overall.
Took him in the 3rd. That's a reach.
Yeah. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
You like that? You like that?
By the way, DJ Burns, speaking of NC State, still getting NIL deals. Well, I guess at this point we're just going to call them endorsements because He's no longer
Yeah.
playing.
I mean,
it's not
he
even a
has
name, image, and likeness deal, right?
He has
You're
an
just saying
NIL
endorsement?
deal in the same way that like Patrick Mahomes has an NIL deal with State Farm.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess
He and
it's
Travis Kelce, basically. So I think
Mahomes
it's a
and Auto?
local dairy farm actually has the deal with DJ Burns, if I remember correctly. Off the top
Okay.
of my head. It was just some of
Legend,
that popped
wait
up.
for
I
it.
know are
Dairy.
Yeah, exactly, dairy. It's
The guy-
amazing that even for a player that's no longer playing college sports, I know the run recently ended, but his run's ended, but he still has the cachet. Even though like everyone's pretty much has moved on, he still has the cachet. Even though he might not be a draft pick in the NBA, might not even sniff the NBA really, but to still have that cachet that people still want to do business with them shows the kind of charisma that he has in terms of you put DJ Burns on something, people are going to gravitate towards it.
It reminds me, one of the things that I don't know, I thought this was a great idea, and I advise like legends of sporting programs in college to do this. Gino Gradkowski was my center in college. He ended up going on to be a Super Bowl champion with the Ravens, played in the NFL for a bunch of years. His brother was Bruce Gradkowski, who many remember as the quarterback in the NFL. And Bruce Gradkowski played in Toledo. He was a Toledo Rocket. And once he went on to the NFL, made a bunch of money, he opened up a steakhouse called Gradkowski's in Toledo, Ohio, where he was a legend for the Toledo Rockets, right? And I remember going, it's not a bad move for all these college legends, right? If you are a legend in your college town, buy a restaurant, call it your last name with an apostrophe S, and just print money for a while. The fact that Joe Burrow doesn't have Burrows spelt with the E-A-U-X as a steakhouse in Baton Rouge is unreal. If you're around here, DJ's or Burns's Steakhouse in Raleigh, DJ Burns, I think it could work.
Well, here's actually what he's promoting. So he's with the North Carolina Dairy Producers Association is who he's partnering with. And this comes from a quote from John Hammond, who's part of the marketing division at the NCDA, said, "We've partnered to help promote real milk and specifically chocolate milk. This is a promotion we're doing with DJ, and we also did with some female student athletes about a month ago."
All right,
So
just keep
there you
cashing
go.
those checks, man.
Keep cashing those checks, man.
Strike while the iron is hot. And find a place to play next year. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
What?
Speaking of endorsement deals.
Oh, yes.
Caitlin Clark, 8 years, $28 million with Nike.
With the signature shoe on top of that, too.
With a signature shoe, which is, that is outside of accomplishments like within your competition, like, winning an NBA championship, WNBA championship, winning a national championship, outside of like accomplishments on the actual court of competition, a signature shoe has to be one of the coolest things that could happen to an athlete. When you're like, oh, I'm wearing the me's, like not I'm wearing the Jordans or I'm wearing the KDs or I'm wearing the Kobe's. I'm like, oh yeah, these are the myselfs. That's what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the mines.
What shoe are you wearing? Mine?
Yeah, I'm wearing my. No, I know you. No, literally, they're the Clarks. I don't know what they're going to call them. CC's?
I don't know. They're going to call them Caitlin's? I don't know. That's a great question. Because I know you have like the LeBrons, you have the Jordans, you have the Kyries, the KDs.
Kobe's.
Harden has one with Adidas. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to call
like
it.
Giannis is called like the freaks, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they're called.
So maybe I don't know.
Maybe they call it the logo.
Oh, the logos. That's not bad.
Yeah, my logo ones.
What is it? Her logo might be her like involving the logos on the floor. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean the safety / corner. He's a corner from Iowa, expected to be a first-round pick in the draft tomorrow.
Yeah.
He was asked, like, in all these interviews, are you getting funny questions, anything memorable? He goes, a lot of people have asked me if I think I can beat Caitlin Clark one-on-one. He's from Iowa. Caitlin Clark played at Iowa. His answer was, I think I could. She'd get a couple buckets, but I think I could win. What answer do you think the teams were looking for?
Win, of course.
You think it's just one of those we want blind confidence in our corners?
Why not?
You don't think they wanted him to go like, well, analytically, she's a perimeter player, and I bring a certain amount of lateral quickness to stay with.
Unless he was dead honest, he's like, dude, I suck at basketball.
No, actually, you can go look it up. He's got a highlight
I think
film.
Dude can actually ball.
He dunked a lot in high school.
Yeah.
There's not much else to his game on his highlight film, but he dunks a lot in high school. Let's move on. Let's quit that. Let's hit this.
We got better tonight.
Drake May. Add to the list of people that put puts ketchup on steak and eggs.
Do we have the audio?
We do have the audio.
Let's hear it.
I mean, I eat ketchup with my steak and eggs. That's about it. I don't do much, hopefully don't do too many, weird things. But I eat ketchup with steak. I know it's kind of offensive to chefs, but I grew up in the South a little bit. I know it's disappointing, but that's what it is.
To me, there's a fine line here. Now, I'm big on, like, nobody has guilty pleasure music. If you like it, it's music to like. If it's food that you're eating, what do I care what you put on it? Like, you do you. But I do think there's a difference between putting ketchup on steak and putting ketchup on steak and eggs. I think there is a difference there.
So you're talking like if it's like a breakfast steak?
If it's a breakfast steak with eggs and it's all kind of mashed up and jumbled amongst each other, I think that's not even unusual to put ketchup on it. If you're getting like a porterhouse or a ribeye or a strip steak or something like for dinner, and the first thing you do is put a whole bunch of ketchup on there, little unusual. That's the Mahomes element of it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a steak breakfast burrito. If you're throwing you can throw some salsa, some ketchup, whatever you want to do on that.
Yeah, I don't do ketchup on eggs nor steak.
That's fine. Again.
Yeah, neither. But I think it's gross.
Really? So if you're out to breakfast with someone, they get a little steak and eggs, and they go like, "Oh, sorry, can you get me some ketchup, please?" You're looking at them sideways, questioning their judgment, maybe not drafting them in the top 5.
Maybe not.
Interesting. Very interesting. Actually, I don't know if there is a food take that would make me like seriously consider like knocking someone's judgment down.
I wouldn't do that. In all seriousness.
There probably is, though. There probably is.
Is there?
I mean, if it's weird enough.
I don't know. Will Levis put mayonnaise in his coffee.
And he didn't get drafted in the first round.
No, see, there it is.
At one point, he was the betting favorite to be the number 2 overall pick.
Now we've pinpointed it. Don't have weird food things, and we're all good.
Like, just there has to be a line you don't cross.
Yeah,
but
mayonnaise and coffee.
I don't know where it is.
I'll tell you that.
He was eating bananas with the peel.
Yeah, just peel that thing. It's there for a reason.
It is a strange one. That's it for Hit It and Quit It here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. If you have a food habit that you think would literally drop down your draft status so you would hide it from like coaches and everything, tweet it at us at 99.9 The Fan. Right now, Dennis has something for you.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Check them out online, deepriversportingclays.com. I know wedding season is popping up. It's basically getting underway because it's springtime, weddings all through the summer, fall. I know people that are even planning their weddings already into next year. But if you're looking to something to have that memorable moment, that memorable experience before you have your friends tie the knot, you want to have that bachelor or bachelorette party or get together with family, go to Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School, because here's what you can do. You can go online to book there at deepriversportingclays.com. They have a couple of beautiful outdoor pavilions. They have a wonderful natural setting that they have in Sanford. It's a 65-acre area, so you can book the outdoor pavilions that they have, and they also have a fire pit, and they can Deep River Sporting Clays can provide food and drink for you. So after you do your round of clays with your family, with your friends, your loved ones, with the wedding party, go back to the pavilions, sit down, have some food, have some drink, enjoy some outdoor time, bring the cornhole boards out, whatever it is that you want to do. Have that wonderful experience and look no further than Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. They have everything that you need there for your shooting needs. But again, it's more than just a place to shoot. Have that experience, have that bonding time with friends and loved ones leading up to the big day. Check them out online, deepriversportingclays.com. Again, book now, deepriversportingclays.com. And when you do, let them know that Dennis sent you.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, the 10 shows leading up to tomorrow's draft. Each show we took one position, we looked at it, we broke it down to make sure we knew how the table would be set going into the draft tomorrow. The final position today is the safeties, back there in the secondary. Get it? Last line of defense, last one we do. We talk safeties coming up next.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car.
How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GEAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop. Introducing Bojangles' new Bird Dog, a seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supreme, dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all on a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or a 2 Bird Dog combo for just $8. Hurry, Bo's Bird Dogs are available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel free. Just text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
Luke faces Darth Vader one last time in the climactic 6th episode, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, made even more exciting as the North Carolina Symphony plays John Williams' thrilling score live. Don't miss the Force battle and the Ewoks fighting the Empire as the rebels work to disable the Death Star's force field generator in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Thursday, May 2nd at 7:30, Friday the 3rd, and Saturday the 4th at 8 at the Martin Marietta Center at Nimandi Concert Hall in Raleigh. Tickets at ncsymphony.org.
Adam Golden studio with my friend Dallas Rhule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I have more windows in my house than doors, but if I wanted to change out windows, how long does this whole thing take?
So typical job, couple of days, 2-3 days, and that's complete. That's very unintrusive. A lot of these home improvement projects, it can take weeks or months. You can beautify your home. You can make it more energy efficient. You can make the windows that are a lot easier to use and clean, and you can do it quickly. It's 2 to 3 day job usually.
2 to 3 days. And how many different types of windows do you have?
Where do I begin?
We don't have that much time.
We got colors, options. These things are custom made to your specifications, sized perfectly to fit the openings.
Can you put a window where I don't have a window?
We do it all the time.
Unbelievable. Dallas Rhule from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 800-672-4348 on Hamlin Road in Durham, aluminumcompany.com for windows, right?
Absolutely. And doors.
Get a great deal this spring on a new Trane heating and cooling system. Trane systems are engineered to keep up with you. Visit TraneInfo.com to find your local independent Trane dealer and learn more. It's hard to stop a Trane.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll get to the safeties for the Carolina Panthers in a second. I'm legitimately surprised by the breaking news I just read during that commercial break. Mo Diarra of the North Carolina State Wolfpack men's basketball team put out a statement saying that he is 100% pursuing his professional career and declaring for the NBA draft. The statement reads, "This last season at NC State with my teammates and coaches was incredible for me. It has been more than I could have imagined, and I will always cherish my time with NC State and our run to the ACC Championship and Final Four. But my dream has always been to play in the NBA, and now I'm going to turn my focus 100% to pursuing my professional career. To my teammates at NC State, you guys are my brothers for life. To my coaches, thank you for your guidance and your belief in my abilities. And finally, to the fans, thank you for all your support this season. The support you showed the last month of our season was amazing. I will always be a member of Wolfpack Nation, but at this time I am officially declaring for the NBA draft."
That's why I did not expect this to happen.
I'm legitimately surprised. Like, I'm caught off guard.
Yeah.
One, I hadn't seen anything saying that the NBA was super high on Diarra. Not to say they wouldn't ever be. He brings a certain skill set, and especially if his shot continues to develop, that does translate to the NBA.
6'10", can rebound.
But at the same time, I thought he was going to have an opportunity to be a more featured player this upcoming season.
Yeah.
And being featured might lead to a better draft or NBA profile. I don't think NC State was this. Here's what it is, and here's what this show is about college basketball. I don't think NC State was planning on needing to replace Mo Diarra this offseason. But what did I say? And I said this, I forget which team I was talking about, maybe Duke, earlier this offseason. You have to go through with your team, meaning head coach and with your support staff, your recruiting staff, your assistant coaches, and literally look at every single person on the roster and say, how do we pivot? What is our plan if this person decides to leave? Whether that's the portal, whether that's going pro, whether that's anything else. What do we do with this person? Even if it's someone who you don't think is going to leave in a million years. Even if it's like, why would they leave? Actually, know who this was about? This, ironically, was about Seth Trimble for UNC. We had this conversation. Because Seth Trimble, when he went into the portal, which he has now withdrawn his name and gone back to UNC, I said, RJ Davis hasn't said he's coming back yet. Why in the world would Seth Trimble say he's leaving? But UNC had to have a plan, and obviously their plan was to continue trying to get him to come back. But so I guess that could be the plan for NC State with Diarra, is he's declaring that he's going to the NBA draft, but he still has eligibility. You can still get him to withdraw that name.
Yeah.
But you have to look at every player on your roster and say, if they decide to transfer or if they decide to go pro, what is our plan?
Mm-hmm.
And that way, when this happens, it's not full panic. It's opening a drawer in your desk, going through a file cabinet and saying, Diarra. All right, here's what we do. These are the guys we like in the portal to play the 4-5 position, the 4 or 5. Here's the guys we like coming out of, here's our recruits and which ones might be able to play there. Here's Ben Middlebrooks. Do we like Middlebrooks stepping into the starting lineup and playing a bigger role? All of that has to be part of the discussion. But I assume they have to take 45 minutes to just be flabbergasted by this one a little bit. I am legitimately surprised. Do you think this is part Costanza-ing? Right? With the legendary Seinfeld episode where George Costanza realizes when he tells a good joke, he should just walk off the stage like a comedian, right? You have a good joke, everybody laughs. Thank you, everybody. Good night. And he starts doing it like at work. He's in the conference room, tells a funny joke, everybody laughs. Thank you, everybody. Good night. And he just goes home for the day, and everybody's like, hey, that George, he's a good guy. Do you think this is Diarra just recognizing we won the ACC championship, we made a run to the Final Four? Thank you, everybody. Good night. Always remember me as the guy that played through Ramadan fasting on a way to a Final Four and had all those clutch rebounds. Good night, everybody. And then you just sail off into the sunset.
Like, remember how awesome I was in the postseason?
Maybe it's like a sell high. I don't know. I'm surprised because it seems like with how he played at the end of this year on that run we just talked about, that would be setting him up to build off of that momentum and be depended upon more by NC State at the beginning of next year. There were moments in this season he was not playing huge minutes. He was playing 10, 12 minutes in some games and kind of a role player, and that simply wouldn't happen next year. He's proven that he's too valuable to not be on the floor for massive amounts of minutes. Mo Diarra announced just moments ago, we're looking at 18 minutes ago on his social media that he is entering into the NBA draft.
Live reaction in real time.
My live reaction can be described as surprised.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I did not see this one coming. Did not see this one coming at all. But like you said, he does have a year of eligibility left, depending on what he does in terms of signing with the pro agent. We played 2 years of JUCO. Then he had a year of
I
Missouri.
think I may have forgotten the JUCO years.
Yeah, and then obviously at NC State. So, you know what? But also, here's the thing as well. If you want to go pro, and it's an option for you, and it's what you want to do, go for it. Go for it.
I don't knock people for going to make their money. I do think some people, in retrospect, look back and go, "I wish I would have hung around." But you're an adult. You make your own decisions. I will not knock you for chasing that back.
Hey, go for it. You know what? But here's the thing: if NBA doesn't work out, that guy can play overseas easily. Easily can have a career overseas. If he wants to start being a pro, go be a pro. He's done 4 years of college already.
And he was also he was born in France.
He was.
That actually helps you out even more with overseas stuff if you have a European passport, because some leagues have rules on how many Americans you're allowed to have. You can only have 2 or 3 Americans. If you were born over there and you can use that, then there's usually even more openings for you.
Sure, it's a lot easier. Not to get deep in the weeds, but just get a work visa. Those kinds of things. Because guess what? That's the kind of stuff you have to have.
Also, yeah, let's just dive into some paperwork that he has to file. Let's make sure he's dotting his I's and crossing his T's around here.
And plus, as well, I mean, I've talked to people who have played internationally, from the United States, and they said it's a really, really difficult adjustment because you don't know language. It's a completely different environment, culture.
Some very much struggle with it.
Some struggled mightily with it.
I know some basketball players that I was friendly with from my time at Delaware that played all over. Like we're talking Russia, Japan, like every different kind of place. And the stories, they are stories.
Oh, yeah.
The stories are definitely stories. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Loan Pronto. Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free of credit cards, car loan, and personal loan. That's right. I'm talking no credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value, it's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement project. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The starting 5 served up by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Coming up next. Stick around.
The NFL Draft. Start the clock. Let's go. The picks will be in. With the first pick. It's NFL Draft Week. Find out if Drake May stays in the top 3. Will the Carolina Panthers make magic happen on day 2? Find the answers with us. Let's give these people a show. Insider reports and in-depth coverage all week long on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Sanja loves to bake, but her feet, they were throbbing. Then one day, I found a solution. Arch supports from the Good Feet store. Have foot pain? Good Feet could help.
You too can live the life you love with Arch Supports.
from the Good Feet store.
It's playoff time in the NBA and the NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Adam Gold here, and right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you make your first $5 wager, because you know me. Go to FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold to get started. FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold. Then you can bet on anything. Slap shots, home runs, slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. $200 in bonus bets await when you place your first $5 wager. Visit FanDuel.com, promo code AdamGold. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Must be 21 and older and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
He's a former coach with 2 sons who played professional basketball. Satch Sullinger's a competitive individual, but his golf game was suffering because of painful joints.
Right, that's real important. The golf game, right. As we get older, we create these bad habits because we're relegated to hit a certain way.
QC Kinetics used regenerative treatments, all natural healing properties from Satch's own body, to restore those damaged joints and get his golf game back on track.
QC Kinetics regenerative medicine is regenerating me, all natural. And that's what I'm about. I'm going to tell everybody why I'm better.
Oh, and by the way, looks like the competitive Satch is back.
We're all in the same boat, and I'm getting better, and I'm watching them stay old.
Go to QCKinetics.com. Get relief and your game back. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 919-400-5473. That's 919-400-5473. In Cary, Clayton, Raleigh, and Wake Forest, 919-400-5473.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
A happy place comes in many colors. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy. During our spring sales event, get 10% off any home painting project $2,500 or more when you schedule before April 30th. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Home improvement contractor registration numbers are available at CertaPro.com.
This hour on the Triangle Sports Leader is brought to you by the Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Shoot! He scores!
Go to GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We've had some showers move on by. They're going to linger in our southern counties through the early evening hours. Overnight low 50. Sunshine in the morning Thursday. It's partly cloudy in the afternoon. Less humid. It's comfortably cool. The high at 72.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is down 42 points to 38,460. Market update brought to you by Sanford's Strawberry Jammin'. Saturday, May 11th, downtown Sanford, starting at the Farmers Market, where it'll be all things strawberry flavored, plus live music, kids' activities, food trucks, vendors, and more.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The starting 5 is served up by Reggie Law Firm Injury Lawyers. Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com. The starting 5, as always, starts with number 5. We thought this was going to be the big breaking news about players staying and going pro and not going pro in college basketball before the Mo Diarra news broke 25 minutes ago. But yesterday, the news of the day, news du jour, was R.J. Davis announcing he was not going to go pro. Or not, I shouldn't say R.J. Davis announced. Let me backtrack, get my wording right. Multiple reports being issued from across the college basketball media landscape that R.J. Davis would be returning to Chapel Hill to play for UNC next year and not going pro. Sandwich that in with Seth Trimble, who was a contributor for UNC this past year off the bench, taking his name out of the transfer portal and returning to Chapel Hill. Yesterday was a very good day for UNC basketball. Those two guys take them from what I considered a thin backcourt to a wildly talented and deep backcourt, right? Because they're bringing in Ian Jackson, who's a stud incoming freshman. They have Elliot Cadeau, who played a ton of minutes for them as a freshman this past year. And that was kind of what they were going to be rolling with on the perimeter, plus whatever they added in the transfer portal. And now you add those two guys to R.J. Davis and Seth Trimble. That's 4 ball handlers. That's 4 guys you trust in a bunch of different situations. That's very, very good for UNC basketball. And it also laser focuses in their offseason, right? It takes them from we need perimeter, we need forwards, we need centers, we need on and on and on, to they pretty much just need big guys, right? There's still some scholarships to use, and there's still some talent that they can go get on the transfer portal to fill that void, right? Harrison Ingram going pro, Armando Bacot finally exhausted his eligibility. That's a lot of rebounding. That's a lot of minutes down low that they need to fill, but their backcourt is ready to roll. And think about that, right? There's not many position groups or position areas on any college basketball team that are just ready-made with proven superstars, right? ACC players of the year, proven role players, right? Maybe your best perimeter defender, super high-profile recruits incoming in Jackson, and a point guard that is a pass-first point guard in Elliot Cadeau. Like, they've got a little bit of everything out there for the perimeter for UNC. Yesterday, a very good day for Hubert Davis. And sometimes you have, like, when you look at the portal, the best thing you can do is just get one of your own guys to come back.
Yeah, and I'm reading through the comment section on our YouTube when we posted the videos about Trimble and R.J. Davis. A lot of Tar Heel fans very excited.
As they should be.
Hearing those reports.
As they should be.
Absolutely. If you're a Tar Heel fan, you should be 100% in on it.
I mean, he's a 5th-year player. Those don't
darn good one too.
They aren't going to exist anymore because this is the last year with COVID extra years. Like 5th-year players aren't going to exist anymore.
I mean, unless it's a true red shirt for medical reasons or you just didn't play.
But I don't. I guess medical red shirts. I meant like as far as he's been a contributor for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's not the red shirt's always going to be a thing. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
We are the 4 horsemen. Woo!
Brett Pesce, likely out for the series. Brett Pesce being a defenseman for the Carolina Hurricanes, likely out for the remainder of the first round. Dennis, how big of a deal to you is Pesce's absence? Because I admittedly, and sometimes you catch yourself doing this when you speak into a microphone for 3 hours a day, I've kind of played both sides of this because I do think it is a big deal that Pesce is out because Pesce's a really good player and he's been a part of Canes culture and you trust him out there in every situation and he plays well with Shea. But then I've also said I don't care that Pesce's out. My expectations don't change. You better still roll through the first round, win the second round, and it's cup or bust.
It is impactful because he is one of your top penalty killers, so there is a drop-off there. But also, so yes, it is impactful, but at the same time, it's not something that you can't overcome as a team. Because the way you built your roster, the way you built your team, the way you built your depth, you can overcome this.
I like that. Let's hear from Rod on the guy who will be likely stepping in for Brett Pesce, Tony DeAngelo, and then I have a point to make about Pesce and DeAngelo and their differences.
I mean, listen, he's been here before. We had him for a whole year, and I think he played almost every game. I mean, we know what we got in that player. That's why we went and got him. It's just unfortunate he didn't get to play much this year because we were healthy, and that this is exactly why you want a guy like that around.
What you touched on for Pesce, I think, is part of the challenge with D'Angelo stepping in. Pesce, one of your best penalty kill guys, right, out there on the penalty kill. D'Angelo, his skill set, right, as a way to kind of describe how D'Angelo and Pesce are different, Pesce, penalty kill. D'Angelo, power play. Like, that's an easy way to describe how they are different, even though D'Angelo is going to be replacing Pesce.
If you want to, if you're Rob Brindamore, it gives you the option. If you want to play more even strength minutes for Brady Shea, you can take him off the power play and put Tony D'Angelo in right there. Like, that's a great way to save minutes for Brady Shea if you want to.
Which is a possibility.
Which is a big-time possibility.
But just now also you're looking at a team that's been playing pretty darn well, and there's more changes to roles, right? Because make no mistake about it, special teams have been a feather in the cap of the Canes all year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure I want to mess with much of it, right? I'll shake things up to put Gensel after the trade deadline on the power play because, of course. But I'm not sure, taking Shea off. Shea's been pretty good in really that little point position.
But it's an option for you if you want to use it.
It is. And that's what they have to that's a challenge they have to face. And by the way, just to say this before everyone in the comments gets there before I do. Yes, everyone deals with injuries in the NHL. No team is 100% right now. Every team is shuffling roles and changing things. I get it, but that doesn't mean you have to like it. What was that, number 4? Let's get to number 3.
1, 2, 3.
One of the players I was most excited to see return for the NC State men's basketball team announced a half hour ago that he is turning pro. Mo Diarra not coming back, according to the announcement today, a half hour ago, putting 100% of his energy into his professional career and declaring for the NBA draft.
That's big.
It is, and here's part of the reason why I was so excited to see Mo Diarra this year play for the Wolfpack. He leveled up during that postseason run, and you tend to see that happen in all sports where in the biggest games of a year, a guy levels up, plays well, becomes dependable, and then it's the next year where he puts it all together because that whole offseason, he has more confidence. That whole offseason, he gets more opportunities, right? More people want to train with him. He gets to go. It's just you see everything kind of rise off of a postseason run. So I was really looking forward to seeing where and kind of how far the development of Mo Diarra could go before next year, to the point where maybe next year he becomes one of your go-to offensive options. He was a very, very good, very, very talented supporting offensive option this year, right? Because the main characters were DJ Burns and DJ Horn and maybe even a few others before you got to Mo Diarra. I wanted to see Mo Diarra in a featured role. Now we won't see that as he chases his professional dreams. I want to be clear here. I'm not criticizing a player for making a decision that they think is best for them. I completely understand that you have to look out for number one, right, with the portal and everything else. There's no guarantees of anything for anyone anywhere in college sports. Selfishly, I'm saying I was looking forward to having another season of Mo Diarra. And, I would like to see another season of Harrison Ingram at UNC. I would like to see another season of Jared McCain at Duke. Selfishly, I like when the triangle teams have all these good players and the ones that I think are going to be very good next year. So when they decide to go pro, I'm bummed, right? And maybe that's a selfish thing, but I'm also thinking, I didn't think I had to worry about Mo Diarra. I knew Jared McCain was likely going to go pro, right? Because he was a 5-star and because he was in every mock draft for the first round for all of these months. Mo Diarra, I think, is surprised. It's hitting me harder because it was no, you were the one I wasn't worried about. You were
supposed to stay.
You were, yeah, exactly. You weren't. This comes out of nowhere, man. We just did the ins and outs. When I say just did, I mean earlier this show today, Wednesday, April 24th, we did the ins and outs of the portal for the 3 triangle teams. We did Duke, UNC, and, of course, NC State, who we're talking about now. The players that they lost in the portal, the players that they brought in the portal. Well, guess what? NC State's going to have to add a couple more ins now, right? Because now you're losing DJ Burns and Mo Diarra. As much as you like Ben Middlebrooks, he can't be the only big on the roster. Ernest Ross, another guy that was had a little bit of size, he's in the transfer portal. Cam Woods, a little bit of size, maybe a little bit less, but he's in the transfer portal. So now I think, and Huntley Hatfield is coming in. That he's a player that'll play down low. But I don't think you want to move somebody like Styles to play more of a forward role. He's 6'6", but he's a perimeter guy.
Yeah, he's a wing. But here's the thing. I mean, Kevin Keats has 2 scholarships available now. He has 2.
I would say the bidding starts at 6 feet 10 inches tall. like they
minimum
need
6'9".
Yeah, 6'9", 6'10" in sneakers. Like they need size. They need, I mean, just alone to guard other bigs. Right? The ACC, part of the reason I love the ACC is because they can play a perimeter. Like there are different teams that focus on perimeter-oriented games, and there are different teams that focus on bruising, physical style-oriented games. Right? Kind of the best of both the SEC and the Big Ten. You can't get through a schedule without, I'd say, 3 legitimate. Like, you can play them 15-plus minutes a game post-defenders on your roster, or else when you run into those teams that play a physical brand of basketball, you're just going to get bullied. So they need size now. Mo Diarra covered a lot of holes for them with some of his versatility. They need to solve some things quickly in the portal. And, yes, that's how – I almost just said, like, I know it's crazy. That's how fast college basketball works. But 35 minutes ago, he put on his social media that he's turning pro. Within an hour, you have to be going like, who's available in the portal? How can we – all right, we need bigs. We need big defenders. Who else do we need? Who else can we call? Who else is available? Who do we recruit out of high school that's in the portal now that we already have a relationship with? It happens that quickly. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
The NFL draft starts tomorrow.
Fun time of year.
It starts tomorrow. NHL makes it sneak up on you, but the NFL draft, I'm going to do my best not to confuse NHL and NFL when I'm talking quickly here.
Okay.
NFL, I'm going to say them all. NFL.
Nailed it.
WNBC. NFL. It's tomorrow. And there are still, like the best part about the draft is even the things that you are 100% confident in, you're not 100% confident in. Right? Like the Panthers don't pick until Friday. They have the 33rd overall pick. That's the first pick on Friday. I am as certain as I can be that the Panthers will not trade into the first round. With that being said, I'm going to have all my alerts set, and I'm going to be watching, waiting for the ticker to say the Panthers have traded into the first round. The draft is so unpredictable that the things you feel 100% confident in, you still watch going like, is it going to happen? Caleb Williams is going to be the number 1 pick to the Bears. I'm still going to be watching going like, is it Caleb Williams? Because it's just crazy things have happened. Today, I saw Chris Sims and Todd McShay, 2 insiders for different organizations, say that they've talked to a whole bunch of people in the NFL who believe Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver out of LSU, is higher on their board, higher on their draft board than Marvin Harrison Jr., the wide receiver out of Ohio State. I hadn't heard much, if any, of the Neighbors over Marvin Harrison Jr. talk for the last year. Now, the day before the draft, 2 insiders are like, yep, heard it. Bunch of guys in the NFL believe it. What do I believe? Who do I believe? Who can I trust?
I'll believe after I see it.
Yeah, believe.
That's Joe. When it comes to the draft, so-and-so's going to go somewhere, I'll believe it when I see it.
But even that isn't always the case. I just listened to a podcast with Mikal Bridges of the Nets.
Yeah.
On draft day, he was drafted by the Sixers. This is an NBA comparison, but he was drafted by the Sixers, 10th overall. His mom worked for the Sixers. He grew up in the area. He went to Villanova in the area. Went to all the media, right? Hat on, had the hat that said Sixers, talked about how cool it was, already knew all the media because they've been covering him in high school, covering him in college. Very good vibes. Walked away from media, traded to the Suns.
Yep.
Like sometimes even once the draft happens, it's still not completely done. So I'm like my intent. I don't believe anyone right now so aggressively. It's actually, it probably creeps into the real world, right? It's like you're walking by and somebody's like, "Oh, we have the birthday cake for the birthday people tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh yeah, do we? Good joke, ha ha ha." Not believing that.
Good one.
And it's like, what are you doing? It's like, sorry, I'm on red alert right now. Everything I hear, I'm extremely skeptical of. Washington's going to take Jaden Daniels. Oh, are they? Really?
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So this means they're taking Drake May. Wasn't born yesterday, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. They're getting J.J. McCarthy.
So what you're telling me is they're going defense.
Yeah. Jared Verse. Number 2. Vontae Mack.
What did we do the math? We did the math on ACC expected guys.
Yeah, we were talking about this off air earlier today. I was thinking off the top of my head the number of guys from the ACC that we might get drafted in the first round tomorrow.
Drake May,
Graham Barton from Duke.
Yep.
Nate Wiggins, the defensive back from Clemson.
Yep.
Jared Verse, the edge rusher from Florida State.
All, I would say, safely in the first round.
I off the top of my head, I can't really think of anyone else.
Keon Coleman would be the other that might sneak in, wide receiver from
but
Florida
he's probably
State.
A second rounder.
We decided Notre Dame we're not counting as
No, we're
half
not
an
counting Notre Dame
ACC.
for football.
They're
Nope.
not getting half for Joe Alt.
Nope.
4.5. We can't.
No.
4. We give them a quarter.
Nope.
I mean, they're taking. Never mind. We won't get into the politics behind Notre Dame in the ACC. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The starting five continues with number 1. One of the biggest challenges for the Carolina Hurricanes before their game tomorrow in New York, they're on the road. Before that game starts, one of their biggest challenges is not necessarily forgetting game 2, but moving on from game 2.
Yeah, you got to move past it.
They moved on. Part of the reason why game 1 was so awesome for the Canes, even though they didn't play great, is because that you could tell. Like, by the time post-game press conferences started, game 1 was in the rearview mirror, and they were itching to play game 2. Game 2 did not have that same vibe. It was so fun. The comeback was so exciting. The goal scoring was so dramatic. 5 unanswered goals was so incredible that it did feel like they're like, nah, actually, we're going to hold on to this one a little bit. After game 1, they were like, we have to correct this. I want to be back on the ice as soon as I can so I can prove that that's not the way we play. After game 2, they were like, well, we could enjoy this one a little bit, right? Which means by tomorrow at 7:30, the page has to be turned, right? It can't be about how awesome that was or how crazy that goal was or, patting each other on the back. It needs to be about game 3. It's one of the things I like to say is don't let a loss beat you twice. And what that means is if you lose a game that you shouldn't lose and then you're obsessing over that loss, that you're not ready for the next game, so you lose that one. And it's like don't let a loss beat you twice. The same is kind of like don't let a win beat you in your next game. It's not as clean and concise of a saying. I'll have to work on the cliche. Don't let a loss beat you twice. Just kind of it rolls off the tongue.
I used to say that when I was coaching goalies in lacrosse. I would say, look, don't let one goal become 2.
Exactly. So what is it when it's don't let a save stop you from making another save, right? Don't let a win stop you from making another win. It's a little bit clunkier, but the logic is still the same. For different reasons, right? You can't obsess over game 2 so much because it's so fun and you want to keep reliving it that you don't get ready for game 3. I mean, luckily we're not on the team, so we can obsess about game 2 as much as we want.
Of course.
Yesterday, we played the ending in its entirety on our show. Like we just said, it was so much fun, let's relive it. We, fans, media members, the only thing we have to be ready for in game 3, it's on the road. You just have to know where you're watching it and maybe have like your phone or computer ready to tweet.
That's it.
That's all we got to do. And I guarantee you we can do that. They have to flush it and be mentally ready to play another game. And I would even say this. start better.
Yeah.
It's not even just you have to be ready to play as well as you played in Game 2. The fact of the matter is Game 2, wildly high degree of difficulty. Like that, it's not easy to come back from 3-0. You shouldn't be like, well, as long as we do what we did in Game. No. Mm-hmm. Play better from the opening puck drop. Leave no doubt. Win the game, come back, or heck, got to play. You don't have to play another home game in the first round. They're fun. We enjoy them here in Raleigh.
Yeah, we do.
They're good energy. Tailgating is great. I will not slight you. I will not fault you if you do not have another home game until the second round. I'm completely fine with going a long time between home games.
It's crazy because that, depending if they're playing the Rangers, who we anticipate, they're up 2-0 on Washington.
Could be a long time.
That next home game will be until Game 3 of that series.
Could be a long time.
Maybe we'll squeeze in one more. I don't know. I still think they lose one of these next two. Just because home ice.
But that's prediction, not hoping.
Yeah, that's prediction. Yeah.
Like I've predicted 4-1 from the very beginning, 5-game series. I hope I'm wrong. I think it's best for the Canes if I'm wrong. I think again, rest helps this team. Mm-hmm. They've got some guys that are asked to do some pretty physically demanding things within each game plan. So, I don't think there's nothing noble in like, hey, let's give the fans one more. Let's close it out at home. There's nothing noble in that. There's no honor gained, no style points gained. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Want to tell you about Capital Financial Advisory Group and my friend Coach Pete. Coach Pete has been revolutionizing the retirement planning game for decades. And with use of his GPI index, Coach Pete can help you maximize consistent growth, protect your money from year to year, and build an income switch for you to flip on when you need to and want to. With the help of Coach Pete's financial fill-up, you will receive guaranteed income for life, and even in the face of challenges like long-term care or losing a spouse, you will still receive that check. It all starts with Coach Pete and his fantastic fiduciary financial planning team at Capital Financial, analyzing your current financial plan to help you build in the 3 core components of a proper plan. That way you can retire with the clarity and peace of mind you deserve. Call or text today to get your very own GPI index score and see how this valuable tool can work for you now and along your journey through retirement. Call right now and Coach Pete will do all of this at no cost, but you have to let him know we sent you. Call 800-691-3215 and tell them we sent you, or you can just text my name, TIM, to 600-700. Again, that's 800-691-3215 to call, or you can text to 600-700, my name, TIM. We'll take a break. When we come back, we need our numbers game contestants. I'm jumping ahead here. Today, the prize is Sam Hunt tickets. He is bringing the Summer Heat to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on Saturday, July 27th for the Locked Up Tour with special guests Russell Dickerson and George Burge. Sam Hunt tickets will go to one of you, but to win the tickets, you have to play the game. We need 2 contestants. Call in now to play 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up.
You're always close to the Canes with 99.9 The Fan.
Martinook banks it in. He scores! Jordan Martinook with the steal and the finish. And it's 4-3 Carolina. What a comeback!
Count on us to bring you every Canes game night and the latest Canes news from insider Adam Gold. Your official home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone, available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop. Introducing Bojangles' new Bird Dog, a seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supreme, dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all on a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or a 2 bird dog combo for just $8. Hurry, Bo's Bird Dogs are available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
to tell you that Keno picks 20 winning numbers. We wrote a winning number of our own. Hit it, boys. You pick up to 10. Keno picks 20. It's easy to play for a whole lot of money. Winning numbers are everywhere with Keno from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win a prize range from 1 in 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey homeowners, this is Keith Gregory with Home Exteriors by Baker Roofing. We have a lot of new neighbors moving to our area, and as a company that was founded in Raleigh in 1915, we would like to formally welcome you home. Our history of excellence is best summed up in our commitment. We shall do good work, at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always good work. To learn more about our roofing, siding, window, door, and gutter services, visit bakerroofing.com.
Progressive asks, what do an escaped leopard,
We're live from the zoo where a leopard has escaped.
a growling stomach, an uneaten tuna sandwich, and a backdoor doggy door have in common? They can lead to an unexpected kitchen renovation.
Yeah, hi. Is this the zoo? Your leopard is in my kitchen.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. It is playoff time. NHL, NBA, and baseball is in full swing. FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you bet your first $5. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul. Paul with a capital P, and sign up. Then you can bet on everything from slap shots to slam dunks to home runs, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. So get started today. $200 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/Paul, P-A-U-L, and get started. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Major International Soccer is coming to Raleigh this summer. Don't miss the current English Premier League champions Manchester City versus the current Scottish Premier League champions Celtic FC, playing July 23rd at Keenan Stadium at the University of North Carolina. This is going to be the event of the summer and your chance to watch some great soccer from two of the biggest teams in the world. Tickets are on sale now. Go to fcseries.com to purchase. July 23rd, Manchester City versus Celtic at Keenan Stadium. fcseries.com for tickets.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game here on The Drive. We have Matthew in Raleigh and Austin in Durham. They are competing for Sam Hunt tickets. Come to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on Saturday, July 27th. As always, we'll ask a question, pick our favorite answer to see who goes first. Matthew in Raleigh, we'll start with you. Matthew, today we played audio from Drake May, who said that he puts ketchup on his steak and eggs. And some people had some bugaboos about that. Is there a food kind of preference that somebody has that would make you think different about them? And if so, what is it?
My friends rip on me for liking sour cream. So if you don't like sour cream, I don't really know if I respect you too much.
Just a generic.
Just a blanket statement.
Okay. All right. Like mixed into a dip or something, mixed into another dish? Or are you eating sour cream by the spoonful?
No, I mean, just like on tacos.
Okay. All right. That's
like
fair.
That,
That's fair. Austin and Durham, we'll go to you next. Same question. Is there a food quirk that would make you change the way you think of somebody?
Yeah, when people put hot sauce on eggs. That's not going to do it.
Anti-hot sauce there.
Yeah, I am. All
right. For some reason, the sour cream made me laugh more, so I'm going with that. I didn't realize people were so antsy on what people put on their eggs.
Well, I didn't realize that I was disrespected and not looked down upon by Matthew because I do not like sour cream at all.
Sour cream?
I do not like sour cream.
Do you like Hot sauce on your eggs?
I don't do hot sauce either.
So you're kind of anti-condiment.
No, not at all.
We'll get to the bottom of this later. Matthew and Raleigh, you get to go first. Austin, sit on the line. You'll have your chance at the game and to win your tickets. Matthew, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, here are the categories. NFL Gator Chomp, all players who played their college football in Florida. NFL Notre Dame alum, NBA current players only, and NHL Canes and Whalers only.
I'll do the Gator players.
Gator
or the
players.
Florida players.
All right.
Florida players.
Yep, all players that played their college football at Florida. We have 30 seconds on the clock. I will give you the team and the player. Give me their jersey number as quickly as you can. You do have one pass if you need it. Any last second questions?
I'm good.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis Colts.
2.
Incorrect. Emmitt Smith, Dallas Cowboys.
22.
Eddie Pinheiro, Carolina Panthers.
18.
Incorrect. Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis Colts.
3.
Incorrect. Eddie Pinheiro, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Chris Collinsworth, Cincinnati Bengals.
81.
Incorrect. Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis Colts.
You gotta be kidding me. 1.
You were right there on the single digits with A-Rich.
No.
Number 5. He wears number 5.
Oh, it's tough. He didn't play a lot of games.
That is true. But that is true. You need to think of him like it's a high school day and you're wearing your jersey around. He's just wearing it with no pads.
Right.
Eddie Pinheiro, number 4. Chris Collinsworth with the Bengals. You were one off. He wore number 80.
Oh.
You did get Emmitt Smith, though. Catch 22. So we'll see if it holds up. You're the leader in the clubhouse.
All right.
That brings us to Austin and Durham. Austin, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. You need 2 to win. You get to pick from the remaining categories. NFL, Notre Dame alumni. NBA, current players only. And NHL, Canes and Whalers only.
I'll do NBA current players only.
All right. The way this works, I give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number. Do so as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. You have a pass if you need it. Any last second questions?
For sure.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics.
0.
Correct. Michael Porter Jr., Denver Nuggets.
1.
Correct. Patrick Beverley, Milwaukee Bucks.
22.
Incorrect. Brandon Ingram, New Orleans Pelicans.
14.
Correct. Donovan Mitchell, Cleveland Cavaliers.
45.
Correct. Patrick Beverley, Milwaukee Bucks.
21.
Correct. Smoked it. How much time was left on that one?
There were 9 seconds left on that one. We got it in 21 seconds.
With a mistake in there, we had to come back to Pat Bev. You sounded extremely confident there, Austin. You're good at this. You knew you were good at this.
Oh, yes, sir.
You don't have to call me sir. Let's get that out of the way. But I will call you the winner. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You get the tickets to see Sam Hunt. Go ahead and sit on the line, and Dennis will get the info he needs to get you your tickets. All right.
All right.
You know it's good when like there's a 5 for 5 and absolutely zero celebration. That's like the Canes winning in the first round, right? It's like we're not celebrating. We expected this, right? We got bigger goals at stake here. Austin and Durham just rolled through it, and I would say Pat Bev is not an easy one. Michael Porter Jr. is not an easy one. Brandon Ingram and Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. I mean, they're all, I believe, all stars. So that one might be a little easier, but not the easiest draw that we've seen. And he rolled through it. So congratulations to Austin and Durham, and thank you to now I'm going to forget the other contestant's name. I'll bring it up. Matthew and Raleigh as well for playing. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I think. Speaking of the Canes, I think it's time. I was on the fence about it. I'm no longer on the fence. I think the Canes should go goalie rotation. I think they should go 1-1-1-1. Now I know I'm not making my decisions off of one game, or that's too small a sample size. But Freddie Anderson, for the first time since returning from his blood clotting issue, played in back-to-back games, and 2 nights ago was also the first time he had a save percentage below 90. Is it cause or is it correlate? Is it causal or correlative? That's a question that we will never know the answer to.
Causation or correlation?
But it is a I just can't help but think it was working over the last 20 games of the year. And I don't know why you mess with it, especially when Pyotr Kochetkov is good enough that you trust. If you don't use Pyotr Kochetkov, I would say 2 minimum, maybe 3 per like 7-game series. Play 7 games. If he's not getting 2 games, maybe 3. You're giving back some of your advantage of having 2 guys. You might as well be a team that only has 1 guy you trust. If you're only going to trust 1 guy, you might as well give back your advantage. I think you should see Pyotr Kochetkov tomorrow.
I think it's a real possibility that you do. We'll see one of them, I believe, in one of the next 2 games for the simple fact that 7:30 starts tomorrow night, but then Saturday's game's a faster turnaround. It's a 2 o'clock game.
Then you go back to Freddie.
Exactly. You can have Freddie fresh and ready to go for the Saturday game that could potentially be.
Then game 5, you go back to Pyotr.
Possibly. Or you go Freddie tomorrow, Pyotr game 4, back to Freddie game 5, possibly to close things out.
Well, I mean, 4 or 5 could be a closeout depending on how it goes.
Potentially on how it goes.
I want to stake my claim to it. We might have to talk about it more tomorrow. I am officially team try the goalie rotation.
Okay.
I know it's not traditional or it's not conventional, but I'm officially that team, and I want that known.
By the way, Freddie's workload a couple days ago was not very taxing overall.
No,
like there are defensive breakdowns that led to the goals.
One shot on goal over the last like 30 minutes.
Exactly. So it's not like he was asked to do a whole lot. I think the most rigorous thing he did the last 30 minutes of the game, especially the third period, was skate to the bench for that timeout so they could have an empty net for the 6th attacker. That was probably the most rigorous thing he did that entire stretch. So I don't know. It's a really good point. I think they will use both goalies in some way, shape, or form. It would not surprise me if Kochetkov is the guy tomorrow and have Freddie to go on Saturday. And then you have you have Sunday and Monday between games 4 and 5. So if you want to go back to Freddie because you have the extra day in there, you can always go back to him then if you want to.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should, though.
That's fair.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We haven't gone to our safeties conversation. The last day to get ready for the draft before tomorrow is draft day in the NFL, at least for the first rounders, or at least for the teams that have first rounders. We talk safeties for the Panthers coming up next. Listen up, everybody out there that's been putting off getting your carpets cleaned. You've been dragging the muck, the dirt, the cold all winter into your house. Well, I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm here to tell you why Zero Res is ready to get all of that cleaned up. A 2-day flash sale this Wednesday, this Thursday, 30% off carpet and air duct cleaning. It's a spring cleaning flash sale, but you need to act now. Wednesday and Thursday only, 30% off. You can get all of that muck, that dander, everything breeding in your carpet up and out. ZeroResRaleigh.com. ZeroRez Raleigh.com. Write it down. Make sure you let them know we sent you. 919-995-0000. If you want to call, it is a 2-day, 30% off carpet and air duct cleaning flash sale from Zero Res. Get your house Zero Resified right now.
This is Gordon Miller, founder of Miller Lending in Cary, with 2 exciting announcements. Back in 1950, my father and uncle moved to Detroit and opened Miller Brothers Realty, a business they ran for the next 50 years. Fast forward to 1996, and I moved my family to Raleigh and opened D&J Mortgage, a company I'd named after my children. And today I'm happy to announce my sons Daniel and Justin will be leading Miller Lending as we head towards 100 years in real estate and lending, all the while following the one basic principle I learned growing up in that environment. Always treat your customer as you'd want to be treated yourself. Now, while Miller Lending has long been associated with our popular no closing cost program, I'm also excited to announce the opening of our purchase money division with a strong emphasis toward helping first-time homebuyers navigate the mortgage process. So whether you're buying a new home or simply refinancing the home you're in, call Miller Lending and experience the benefit of working with a locally owned family business. In Cary, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146.
Autobell Car Wash has been trusted for 55 years for high-quality service. We'll clean your car from the inside out. Now through June 2nd, buy 2 Super Poly Process Wash tickets at any Autobell for just $55.
People can tell when you Autobell. Before the puck drops, BetMGM is dropping bet and get tokens into the accounts of customers in North Carolina. Hey, it's Victoria Vodenecker here for BetMGM, and all you do is simply add a wager on the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs to your bet slip and activate your token. You'll instantly receive a bonus bet no matter how your wager goes. From big hits to overtime goals, BetMGM is here for every playoff moment on the ice. While the teams chase the cup, you can take advantage of daily promotions, same-game parlays, live bets, and so much more with your BetMGM app in North Carolina. Claim your bet and get token today to earn a bonus bet regardless of whether your NHL Stanley Cup playoffs wager finds the back of the net or not. Get to the center of the playoff hockey action with BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Pulling up to Mickey D's just for drinks? Oh yeah, that's me. Nothing extra, just perfection and a straw. Coming in hot for the coldest cups on the block. Because there are drinks. Then there are drinks from McDonald's.
Now get an ice cold lemonade, frozen Coca-Cola, or iced coffee. Any size for just $1.79.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
See Star Wars Return of the Jedi made even more exciting as the North Carolina Symphony plays John Williams' thrilling score live Thursday, May 2nd at 7:30, Friday and Saturday, the 3rd and 4th at 8 at Mimandi Concert Hall in Raleigh. Tickets at ncsymphony.org.
This is Mike Maniscalco, voice of the Carolina Hurricanes. For Raleigh's exterior remodeler, Window World of Raleigh, a proud partner of the Carolina Hurricanes. And look, I know how important it is to be able to see through glass and make sure that you love what you're seeing through. And not only that, it's got to catch the eyes of everybody looking at it. Clearly, from the perch I have looking down through glass, got to make sure that Window World is taking care of what they have. And that's what they do for your house. And it's not just for windows. They can make a world of difference when it comes to curb appeal, but also saving you money. That's when it comes to decreasing energy costs. As America's largest exterior remodeler, Window World offers the highest rated windows, siding and doors, and so much more. And they all look great. All with guaranteed pricing and the industry's strongest warranty. We're talking about products with a lifetime warranty and the trusted Good Housekeeping seal. Check them out for a free in-home, no obligation estimate. Window World of Raleigh and Fayetteville. Just visit them at windowworldofraleigh.com.
Sanford Strawberry Jammin', Saturday, May 11th, downtown Sanford, starting at the Farmers Market, where it will be all things strawberry flavored, plus live music, kids' activities, food trucks, vendors, and more. Again, Sanford Strawberry Jammin', Saturday, May 11th, at downtown Sanford, starting at the Farmers Market. All things strawberry flavored, plus live music, kids' activities, food trucks, vendors, and more.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's talk safeties, Carolina Panthers. Here's how it stands right now. Your starters penciled in, Xavier Woods and Jordan Fuller.
Mm-hmm.
Depth, Jamie Robinson, he's a second-year, fifth-round pick. Nick Scott, he's a one-year deal.
Then you also have Sam Franklin back as well.
Special teams.
Special teams.
Fuller's on a one-year deal also.
By the way, Sam Franklin had a pick six when he was starting, filling in for, I think it was for Xavier Woods, I believe. The injury had the pick six against Minnesota.
And that's part of what I'm going to say here. This is who they chose to roll with.
Mm-hmm.
They chose to move on from Von Bell. They actually paid a pretty penny and are paying against this year's cap a pretty penny to move on from Von Bell. They chose to move on from Jeremy Chin, and they really chose that before he got hurt last year. They just kind of phased him out of any kind of meaningful role. So I look at their safeties, and I'm a bit underwhelmed, but they must see something that I don't see. Because I don't think they can realistically use any kind of significant draft capital on the safety position because it's simply a position where, it's devalued in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So what I just read you is what they have. Evero, their defensive coordinator, Ejiro Evero, he is tasked with putting an effective defense together without high-priced or highly invested in safeties. That's what you have to do. I'm kind of fine with that. If your corners stay healthy and play well, your safeties will be asked to do less. If your edge rushers stay healthy and play well, your safeties will be asked to do less. If your linebackers stay healthy and do well, you guessed it, your safeties will be asked to do less. So I think a lot of what this draft is, a lot of what this offseason is as far as defense goes, it's getting the rest of those positions playing well so you can ask your safeties to do less. And then you depend on Xavier Woods and hope to goodness he does not get hurt, because I actually like Xavier Woods.
And there's some familiarity actually with Fuller, with his time, because he spent his first 4 years in his career with the Rams. His first 2 years is when Evero was the safeties coach before eventually becoming a defensive coordinator after the 2021 season. So his first 2 years played under Evero, again, under that position, and in just 12 games as a rookie in 2020, 3 interceptions. Last year also had 3 picks to Fuller. So he's been productive in his career, has Fuller. But you said 1-year contract, it's a prove-it deal, and it just might be the right guy in terms of defensive coordinator for him.
And that is where you have to find value. Guys that like on the open market might not fit the market for people that are interested in him as a starter is small because it fits exactly what I do, and he might not fit what some other coordinator asks of their safeties. So you have to find those values, and maybe he is. It's also maybe a year where when we're talking about the safeties, you don't like talking about them, right? It might be a year where if we're bringing up safeties, that probably means they were out of position on a play-action deep ball. It might be that year, and you just hope it doesn't happen often, right? Sometimes you don't need a position to be all-world. You just need the position to not be terrifying. Sometimes that's all it takes. So I don't expect them to do much in the draft at safety unless it's a last-round pick, maybe a sixth-rounder if there's someone they love. But other than that, I wouldn't expect much. Here's a little bit of, I wouldn't call it breaking news, but it's news that developed today that has to do with North Carolina. Greensboro product, Faison Brandon, who is, ready for this, a 15-year-old, is officially according to 247 Sports, which is a recruiting website. They have the 247 composite, which takes in all the other. This is college football, by the way. Greensboro, North Carolina, officially right now, Faison Brandon of Greensboro's Grimsley High School is the number 1 prospect in the country for 2026. He is a quarterback, number 1 prospect in the country. You want to hear some of his – they just updated their rankings today, which is why this is kind of breaking news. Listen to some of his I just had it here. Here it is. His offers. ECU offered him after his 8th grade year upon an impressive camp.
Oh, okay.
Virginia Tech was his first Power 4 offer. That came during his freshman year. He finished his sophomore year just now.
So weird hearing Power 4, but go on.
Now he has been offered after his freshman year by NC State, North Carolina, Duke, Tennessee, and Louisville. After his sophomore year, Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, Michigan, and Florida State. Oregon, Clemson, and Ohio State are all showing interest, and he's considering making the trip to visit Eugene before summertime arrives. How about this? Before his junior season, he plans to narrow it down to a top 10. He's already visited 8 schools this spring, including Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, North Carolina, NC State, Penn State, and Tennessee.
Good on him.
He is 15 years old. He is the number 1 recruit for the just finishing their sophomore year of school class. I don't know what you were doing when you were sophomore year in high school. I was not 6'4", 200 pounds of says he models his game after Cam Newton. I was probably a little bit over 6 feet, but I was 112 pounds. And nobody would ever confuse me with anything near Cam Newton. That's pretty ridiculous. But number 1 recruit in the country, the reason why I bring it up is because that doesn't happen often ever. Ready for my name drop? And it's a weird name drop, and people have different experiences for it.
Okay.
I played my middle school and early high school football and basketball with Manti Te'o.
Yeah.
I still remember when Manti was a number 2 recruit in the country, like when our class's first ratings came out, and I remember going like, him? Holy cow. Like, I know that guy. He was like my teammate. We spent a ton of time together, and I was still like, whoa, this is ridiculous. He was number 2, never made it to number 1. Matt Barkley held that title. So this is pretty cool for Greensboro. Like, the whole community gets raised up by it. All those I've seen it happen in others, and Greensboro is not small, but I've seen it happen in small towns where all the coaches go through to see the one superstar recruit, and then suddenly they look around and go, hey, that guy on the other team is pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's look into him. Like, it can raise the entire area as far as major recruiting goes.
That area has pumped out some great talent.
Yeah. Never a number 1 recruit, though, according to 247 Sports. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, I need to tell you about my partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook. The chase for the cup is on. And if you're looking to light the lamp, nothing beats the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps. DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. And a pretty cool thing for this week, all North Carolina customers can place a pregame money line bet on Carolina. And if they lead by at least 2 goals at any point in time during the game, you win regardless of the outcome of the final score. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TIMD, and new customers will get $200 in bonus bets instantly as soon as they bet $5. That's promo code TIMD with no spaces, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. 1 early win per opted-in customer, max. Bets limits apply. Token expires at the start of the game. See dkng.co/ice for wagering and eligibility terms. That's just about going to do it for us here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly, but we have Overdrive coming up next, and we're going to start off Overdrive with a conversation we had earlier today with Jamie Hersch from NHL Network, talking about the Pesce injury for the Canes, the momentum in the series, the goalie situation, and so much more. Jamie Hersch, NHL Network conversation. Will start things off on Overdrive. Please subscribe to us on YouTube at 99.9 The Fan, and please be right back here listening to 99.9 tomorrow at 3 when we do it all over again. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup check-in. Served up by Abbey Road Tavern and Grill. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight and analysis on the chase for